Nick from Echo Base joins us this morning as we talk about Gina Carano's ongoing saga and more here on Midnight's Edge in the Morning. Good morning, YouTube. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm Tom Connors. It's Blur's Day, aka Wednesday. Hope everybody's doing fine. Andre will be along shortly. He's dealing with a few things, but until then, we have Mr. Script Doctor. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody doing today?
Hopefully well. Good. We also have with us Nick from Echo Base Network. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good. I just was sitting here looking at Twitter and saw that Rush Limbaugh just passed away.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
Whoa. Just saw that news.
Well, there's always something to wake up to, I guess.
Yeah.
Not for Rush.
Yeah.
Ooh, too soon?
Too soon.
Well, I mean, say what you will about him. He was popular to a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll get into all that stuff. Oh, Rob, I forgot to send you a link. Here we go. I never know if Andre does, but he's not here this morning. Rob, where are you? Anyhow, so Nick, you have not been on the morning show, but we've had you here before. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about Echo Base Network, just in case they are new to the program?
So, yes, I'm one half of Echo Base Network. I do the channel with one of my best friends, Coach, who was actually supposed to be here this morning, but he had some last-minute family emergency stuff come up. So he was not able to make it here this morning. But yeah, we primarily cover Star Wars stuff, but we get into pop culture, entertainment, other things, but primarily Star Wars channel. We do documentaries. Our first one was on the sequel trilogy. Doomcock narrated it for us. And here just recently we had our first blow up on a live stream between the amazing Lucas and Jeremy that was pretty entertaining. But at the end of the day, everybody was cutting up and having fun. So, yeah, good stuff.
All right. Well, of course, your other member over there that does all this stuff with you is Coach, who wasn't with us this morning, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully if he can join us later, that'd be awesome. If not, we hope to have him on again soon. But also joining us this morning, the sleepy Reverend Harry Krishna.
Is it too early for a beer?
No.
No, you're good.
Okay, good.
Isn't it noon where you're at?
Good in our time zone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's noon. Yeah.
Good morning, Rob.
Good morning. Is it a good morning? Is it really a good morning?
Good morning, America. How are you?
I'd sing a couple of. I'd sing the first verse of "Good Morning, Good Morning." But then we go to the Apple Music, royalties. So.
Hello, I'm Paul McCartney, and here to sing songs, but I have to pay Apple, so I have to do everything that's royalty free.
Script. You watched that first episode of Stephen Banks' show when he did the Beatles story?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
funny.
Yeah. He was with the plane. Flew in from. We haven't written that song yet.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's good. If everyone wants to know what I'm talking about, check out the Stephen Banks show on YouTube. It was when PBS was trying to take a couple chances, and they actually had a sitcom for a while.
Yes, indeed. And we already got a super chat. I can't bring it up on the screen, but Spider Unlimited sends a $9.99. Thank you so much. Says, I see Disney ruin news as a power play to show they have complete control and wag the middle finger at Gina and fandom who dare criticize them. We'll definitely get into that, will we not?
We're in control now. Get in line, bitch.
All right. Let's see here. Let's get to this news right away because there's so much to talk about this morning. We finally learned a little bit from the whole situation behind Disney and what happened. Of course, we've gone over Gina's side of the story, which came out recently. I'm sure, Nick, you're familiar with that.
Yep, absolutely.
as we learned from an interview with Gina, she was talked to once about the situation, and she was asked to apologize over the whole trans situation, but they wanted to put out a pre-written statement that she didn't agree with, and so that is about as far as that went. And then she claimed she hadn't heard a peep from Disney about it or Lucasfilm about it since then, until the day she got fired is when she learned all the same stuff we did as far as like being fired and all that kind of stuff. But then there's this new Hollywood Reporter article out now. Boy, are we going to dig into this. Corey B, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. 1K downvoted and 51 ups. New KK Oscar Technology and Science Award vid epic comments. Oh, as the new KK Oscar Technology vid. I hadn't got a chance to check into too much of that, but I seen that, and I saw part of her interview from yesterday too. That was anyway. Her favorite movie that gets her going is Dr. Zhivago. Yeah, that's why you're making Star Wars. Darius Munchausen, thank you so much for sending in a super sticker. We appreciate that. Did you hear that, Rob?
What her favorite KK's favorite movie is Dr. Zhivago?
Yeah, that's the one that got her into making movies.
My mom's favorite movie was Dr. Zhivago, but at the same time, you know what? I don't think I would have trusted my mom to make Star Wars.
So I'm saying, did your mom I like the funny Wookiee guy?
No, she hated all of that.
Yeah, see, exactly.
But that illustrates the dichotomy, though. And usually, listen, I'm not saying it's impossible for someone to like Dr. Zhivago and Star Wars. Okay, Lord knows, stranger. I like some pretty strange stuff, but at the same time, it's two entirely different approaches to filmmaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. And then we got another super chat here, one from our good buddy Demajanai says, Disney did Gina dirty, period. Hashtag the Dark Council. That's right. Check out Demajanai's channel. Greg Marquise, thank you so much for the $5, says, The Mandalorian had finally gotten me reinterested in Star Wars. The firing of Gina destroyed that. I don't care about Star Wars anymore. Yeah, Greg, the Star Wars bandwagon has kind of turned me into Phil Collins as well. I don't care anymore.
So somebody in the chat just said that KK's probably going to make a black version of Dr. Zhivago. It's going to be called Dr. Chicago.
Oh, ouch.
Well, don't put it past her.
I know.
Well, Dr. Zhivago is kind of based on a real story, isn't it? So,
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't know anyone that would be equivalent to a Dr. Chicago yet. So, it'll take place during the BLM riots or whatever, but
you had to go there. Steve Carruthers,
come on, we're all thinking it.
$5. Another Canadian friend, like our buddy Script, says Gina basically said Yahtzees are evil. Lucasfilm said Gina's views were abhorrent and spoke against people's religions. Does Lucasfilm support actual Yahtzees? Seems so. Well, if you even use the kind of logic they do, you can definitely get to that conclusion. But there's other people who did come to that conclusion, and I can't per se say that I can say that out loud, but there's definitely something to that.
Okay, Tom, you're gonna need to clip the Family Guy bad news, everyone. We've been canceled. Every time I say something.
Yeah, that's pretty much true with you. So now this article comes out, and this stuff, I tell you, it is something else.
I saw you guys talking about it last night on the High Council. I mean, Cameron Pasha had some good points. You're right, Tom. This is essentially just spin.
They need a warning label for this shit. You're going to get dizzy reading this crap.
Well, what's kind of strange is that isn't part of cancel culture to incorporate Goodwin's law in order to make their argument sound, and Gina kind of didn't really do that. But
what's Goodwin's law for those who
when you bring up Goodwin's law is when the conversation or the accusation is supported when you relate it to World War II and what happened in a certain country that had an Austrian leader.
It took 3 people to write this.
There's actually 3 authors on
3
this
bylines,
article.
yeah.
Wow.
I'm Austrian.
I'm looking up some of these people's credentials. Not that I'm trying to, Hollywood Reporter, Tatiana Siegel, executive film editor at the Hollywood Reporter, the greater New York City area.
Where's your daddy and what does he do?
Oh, she did go to NYU. That's a reputable institution.
Oh, that's not cool.
She went to Northeastern, degree in journalism. Where's she from, though?
Austria.
Usually I say to people who end up moving to New York she went to Northeastern is what, in Boston?
I think so.
Usually people who end up writing for like a publication like the Hollywood Reporter or something like that grow up in the Midwest and then they move to New York because they say, oh, I feel so in touch with the diversity of the city, while they move to Brooklyn, raise rents, and kick out the old people and minorities.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. I never moved to the city for that reason. I moved to the city because I like being able to go across the street and get everything I need for my day and then go home.
Yeah, I lived in downtown Birmingham for like 6 years, and everything was really convenient. I could literally walk everywhere, restaurants, bars, grocery stores.
Well, like I said,
you also got to deal with all the homeless people down there too, which is a chore in itself.
Okay, do we want to see what this guy Boris Kit looks like?
Sure,
I'm game.
Do we want to?
Not really, but it's funny if we do it.
I'm just picturing an EVS
he looks like
drawing.
Daniel Kibblesmith?
No, not really, but he sort of fits that mold. If it ever comes up here. So, but it's gonna stretch while we're there. It is. Should be in there, Tom. But but one of the things is we're not trying to dox him. So, but
why is your computer so slow?
I don't know, man. I upgraded the internet and shit.
I mean, I can see the picture down here. It's just not showing up on the screen.
Give it a second.
Yeah.
But like I said, Daniel Kibble. All these guys have the same look. They're all beard boys. Yeah, and I spent a lot of money towards my depilatory tasks. Okay, people. So there's no reason why you can't.
Okay, well, this picture isn't coming up.
Okay, sorry guys. We all gonna have.
You can just picture. He looks like a skinny little.
It looks like one of the guys. He looks like he just walked off the set of Two Broke Girls. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beard and glasses.
Not beard and glasses, beard, kind of that smug look of, of self-satisfaction, unearned self-satisfaction.
Yeah. Smug.
So basically a smile but no smiling through the eyes, kind of like a dead eyes thing.
Yeah. That's his. Yeah. That's him right there. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the unearned look of self-satisfaction. That's a good way to describe him.
Needs a comb.
It's like, my style is like no style. Yeah, that's your problem.
So anyway, why don't you try to center yourself so you don't fall off your seat from all the spin in this article, and kind of give us an overview.
It's like I'm riding the teacups again at Disney World.
Basically.
Behind Disney's firing of Mandalorian star Gina Carano. And I just found out this morning too that Letitia Wright, everyone who said, oh, they need to give Shuri her own series, give Shuri her own movie, make her the Black Panther. She retweeted like anti-mask, anti-vaccination shit. Oh yeah. So tolerance for that, but not for Gina. Okay. All right. The ouster of Gina Carano from the show draws the ire of the political right wing. Not true. And marks an inflection point for Lucasfilm, whose star was warned repeatedly about her social media posts. She was warned once. Is that right, Tom? She was warned once?
According to her.
It wasn't even really a warning. It was just a request and a pre-written statement provided that.
Hey, you might.
Yes, she basically said, if I can use my own words, I'll do it. And I think she even did. Since she did make a tweet in her own words about supporting people of all different types.
She did.
Yeah.
Hey, you might want to lay off that kind of stuff. Oh, okay, yeah, all right. That's all you got to say. In a plot twist that no studio relishes, one of its highest-profile stars sparks outrage with a controversial social media post. On February 10th, Mandalorian star Gina Carano became the latest member of the Disney fold to do so, joining a list that includes Roseanne Barr, Dan, James Gunn, Letitia Wright. Oh, they do mention Letitia Wright. And Liu. Each drawing varying degrees of action and inaction from the studio. And no studio faces greater scrutiny over its decisions than family-friendly Hollywood giant. Okay, stop right there. Liu was in support of protesters against the Chinese government crackdown in Taiwan, wasn't she? Or Hong Kong?
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
She was in support of the police and their crackdown of anti-government protests.
Oh, in Hong Kong before the whole pandemic thing started.
And you cannot claim moral high ground here because Disney came out in support of that province. They thanked them for filming Mulan there in a certain province in China where they have camps, where they send people to go to in order to not drink orange juice that's concentrated.
Yep.
So there's no moral high ground here, Disney. I'm sorry. In Carano's case, the move to cut ties has been brewing for some time. In months leading up to Disney's Investor Day presentation on December 10th, Carano's agents at UTA were negotiating for the actress to receive a sizable bump for a planned spinoff of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian. That was to star her fan favorite character, Cara Dune. Cara Dune.
Now, what I'm hearing about this though is she wasn't going to be getting a whole hell of a lot more.
No. The actress whose sources say made $25,000 to $50,000 per episode of The Mandalorian was poised to be touted during the presentation.
So guess what the amount she was going to be making for her Cara Dune show?
$75,000?
No, less. She was going to be making about $55,000 an episode to maybe $60,000.
Oh, way to lowballer, Disney. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that seems about right, given how many roles she's done and her prominence. That's normal for her, but the thing is her popularity has superseded her in the public eye than her reputation within Hollywood. So yeah.
Anyway, was poised during the presentation in which Kathleen Kennedy's bony fingers were going to be announcing 10 new Star Wars shows, including Rangers of the New Republic, a series that seemed tailor-made for Carano. But Carano was nowhere to be found during the lengthy presentation. In lead up to the event, Carano had become a lightning rod among Star Wars fans. Really? I thought Star Wars fans loved her. And a headache for Lucasfilm. After a series of tweets in which she mocked mask wearing, suggested voter fraud occurred, a lot of people did, during the 2020 election, and shared posts that some viewed as transphobic. She was originally in that presentation when they announced all those things, and they pulled her off of it, a source tells The Hollywood Reporter. 2 months later, the deal for her spinoff is dead, as is her relationship with Lucasfilm and UTA, both of whom dropped her after she shared a post suggesting that being Republican today was akin to being Jewish in the time leading up to the Holocaust. Wrong. That is wrong.
She said that different political views should not be used as a weapon against the person.
I thought we were singing.
Spin.
Also, we have no confirmation that Rangers of the New Republic is the Cara Dune show. I've heard more to the contrary of that the day it was announced.
Script doctor, are we going to say Rangers of the Lost Ark? I heard that right now.
Welcome, Paulie. I don't know if we got to formally.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey.
Hell, Paulie.
Paulie.
Hey.
What's going on? Okay, hold on. Where was I? Blah, 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 blah. Disney declined comment beyond Lucasfilm's initial statement describing Carano's post as abhorrent and unacceptable, and yet still supported Christina Ariel and Justina Ireland. My interjection.
You know what abhorrent and is unacceptable? The Last Jedi.
Yes.
It's my movie. Hey, don't criticize me. It's my movie.
All three films.
Don't get us started on that.
Disney. Okay, here's a serious question. Has anyone watched The Last Jedi again?
No.
Nope.
No.
Why?
Once in a while, I'll fast forward in The Rise of Skywalker just to that scene where Rey has the helmet on in the X-wing, just to look how awkward and laugh it is. You know.
So you sat there and actually watched these movies after you had to?
No, I just jumped ahead to that one scene.
You just said you did. That's seen it.
That one scene. Well, okay.
That's
I'm
seen
guilty.
it, Rob.
Always keeping you honest here.
Especially that one. Especially that last one.
Yeah, especially that.
It is just it is hysterically bad, that scene. And that just typifies that one scene where she has the helmet on and it's grossly oversized for her noggin. It just typifies that, like, there's no way you could fill these shoes. Really. There's no way you could live up to this legacy. No matter how hard you try. Anyway, I digress. Still, Disney's decision to show Carano the door has prompted cries from the right and me and Rob, including from Senator Ted Cruz and pundit Ben Shapiro, that the studio acts when the left is upset. Paired with the events in 2018, when then ABC President Channing Dungey called out as abhorrent a tweet from Trump supporter Barr that likened Obama administration alum Valerie Jarrett to a primate. Such claims have publicists advising clients to steer clear of politics, especially anything leaning right. No, they've been advising to steer away.
If they're part of the Planet of the Apes, are they still a primate?
That's a good question.
You know, nobody ever bothered asking them.
From primates, so it's not necessarily an untruth.
He is no Jedi.
Hey, Holmes, you got the laser sword. You got the Hey, yeah, man.
Let me tell you, just what you did right there. I would much rather they have created a Star Wars Cheech and Chong in space.
You didn't hear our bit where Cheech and Chong were stormtroopers?
No, that
Cheech and
right
Chong,
there.
Up in spice, yeah.
Hey,
man.
We gotta find the Death Star. The what, man? The Death Star. Is that a joint, man? No, it's a Death Star.
We were like two stormtroopers on the Death Star when it was being tracked.
Oh no, here they come again.
Yeah, nothing ever happens around here, man.
Are they like the two guys by the Death Star cannon without the railing, and they have to like take cover every time they fire?
And then the whole bet went to like, oh wow, what are those kids doing, man? Whoa, they're coming in.
Oh, you know what?
Man, we gotta get out of here.
You know what would have been great is you remember he puts that chain link steering wheel on his car at the beginning of Up in Smoke. Like put that on the Death Star and drive it.
First gear, second gear.
Yeah, second gear. Oh, third gear.
How long have you had these droids?
Oh man, we just had them. We borrowed them from our cousin like this afternoon, man. And just said, we gotta bring them right back.
These aren't the droids you're looking for, man.
These aren't the droids we're looking for.
Oh, that's funny.
Hey man,
you have licenses for the droids?
Isn't it back there on the bumper?
Hey man, is that my cousin? Who? That's Chewie. Chewie Baca. That's my cousin from El Segundo.
It's tailor made.
You got a hair problem.
It's tailor made for Cheech and Chong. I mean, they have a character named Chewie.
Well, just what we did right there, I'd rather pay for to see than those films. Right, Nick? Right, EBN?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Still, Disney's
just like whatever.
Still, Disney's decision showing that Andre's having a fit. Don't turn this into the Howard Stern show. Still, Disney's decision was to show Cara doing the door, has prompted cries from the right, including Senator Ted Cruz. Okay, we got that part. I don't know what people at Disney personally believe or don't believe with regard to politics, but as a corporate entity, they want to stay as trouble-free as possible. That's a lie. And anything that's going to offend the left is a problem. That's the truth. Says crisis PR
Hold
rep
up.
Judah
back up.
Engelmeyer.
Back up. They just basically admitted that they're kowtowing to the left.
Yes. Which is a direct contradiction to their wanting to stay out of political trouble. It's like if you want to stay out of political trouble, you don't pick a side.
They don't.
Mickey, isn't that a hypocritical?
Well, gee, Davey.
That was goofy. I don't know why you did Davy and Goliath.
I don't know.
Where are you coming with your Mickey?
Ha ha! That's right. We don't like money anymore. We like tweets. Ha ha.
Han Cholo.
And
Someone said it in the chat. That's brilliant.
This bit writes itself.
That's brilliant. And their droid Arturito. Arturo Dito.
What's C-3PO? That would be Trace.
See?
See?
I
hear you're a conjugal droid. See?
You see what happens when I come on the stream with Robbie? He turns me against my own people.
You're handle protocol and see. So you're good with communication. See.
Hey, yo, man, we can't let the Empire find out we're growing that grass, man. By the moisture evaporators.
And then R2 just basically like, that's all he can say. He can't speak English. All he can say is see, but we can't understand R2 because he's just sitting there going.
See.
All right, let's continue on. I have clients who are making extraordinary effort to post what the social media left wants to see. There you have it, folks.
Exactly.
Black Panther star writes December tweets, which amplified a UK's minister's video that questioned the safety of the novel coronavirus vaccine and disparaged trans people, also garnered criticism, as did an August 2019 social media post from Mulan star Liu, who offered support of Hong Kong police during the government's crackdown on pro-democracy protests.
Uh-huh.
That's right. Disney's not pro-democracy. What we say goes.
Sources say neither actress was talked to by Disney, which opted to let both matters blow over. Wright deleted her tweet and her Twitter account, and Liu steered away from the subject in months leading up to Mulan's release. Politics, however, seemed to play a role in Disney's move to sever ties with Gunn in 2018 after right-wing personalities resurfaced offensive, nearly decade-old tweets that included such eyebrow-raising jokes as, "I like when little boys touch me in this silly place." At the time, Gunn reiterated an apology, stating on Twitter, "Many people who follow my career know when I started, I viewed myself as a provocateur, making movies and telling jokes that were outrageous and taboo. As I have discussed publicly many times, as I developed as a person, so is my work and my humor." 1 year later, Disney brought him back to direct the third installment of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, the one person I want to see fucking canceled over his anti-Semitic tweets is fucking Trevor Noah, because he said he if he runs over someone runs over a Jewish person with a German car, should he feel bad on Twitter? Let's see how well that goes over now.
I don't know. Dig it up. That's what everybody else does. Fuck them.
Hey, if I could contribute to getting him canceled, that would be one. I would sleep well at night in my own little way.
I don't think he needs to be canceled, but there's.
I think he needs
to be on a show.
He needs to be called out for some of those.
Yeah.
Listen, Trevor Noah has not only stolen other people's jokes, and there's accurate record to prove that. He's not a very good comedian. I mean, he can't think on his feet. If you ever want to see exactly how bad he is, just go watch his one-time guest episode of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown. He completely bombs.
watch his second appearance on The Daily Show, where Jon Stewart's looking at him like, I can't believe this bit's going so bad. Like, how do we save it?
Oh, that couldn't have been saved.
No. But and like I said, he was on with Colbert one night, and they had to pipe in canned laughter because the audience was just flat. It's the whole appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said,
don't get me wrong. He speaks like 11 languages, which is awesome. He should be a translator at the UN, not a stand-up comic.
He speaks 11 languages. He's not funny in a single one of them.
That is true.
Speaking of comedians that steal jokes, has anyone heard from Carlos Mencia since the whole Joe Rogan and him back and forth and him?
I don't think so.
Calling him out for stealing jokes. I don't ever see that dude around.
He's very gone from the business, as far as I know.
I don't know. I mean,
is he?
I haven't heard from him. I don't know. What's he been up to?
Well, I have his itinerary right here. Let me look it up. But I think there was a follow-up with Rogan on Mencia, maybe from a year ago. I know. I'm pretty sure there was.
You
and that was
know,
on his show.
a funny thing though, when Trevor Noah first took over the Daily Show, a lot of his fans took over his Facebook page, took over the Daily Show's Facebook page, and they all had the same thing. This is his chance to teach Americans about South Africa. I'm like, if he wants to teach Americans, go teach a course at a community college. Go do a show on PBS. His job is to analyze, comment, and mock the news.
And not only that, American politics.
Yeah. And their lead-in was a show about puppets. So, yeah, you can't take it too seriously.
Carlos is. It looks like Carlos has been.
Someone said, "Rob, why don't you host the Daily Show?" I'm like, I don't think I would survive. I think I would have a stroke.
What were you saying, Paulie?
It looks like Carlos has been touring here and there, comedy clubs.
What would it be, Tom? What would it be like if Dave?
At this point,
Tom, what would it be like if Dave Chappelle hosted the Daily Show?
America sucks. Okay, we're shit. We're fuck out of luck. Ain't nothing we can do. Put your mask on. Put it on your asshole for all I care right now because I can't even go outside and get a pizza. Bullshit. I'm stuck sitting here watching cartoons and I'm like, I just want a pizza.
What's this whole? Hold on, what's this? Natasha saying KK's video has 52 likes and 1,500 dislikes. What video is that?
Oh, she did some. She's getting some technical award from the Oscars, so she's been doing some interviews. I'll have to. Natasha, send me the link for that if you haven't already. So
I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
I'd like to thank the Academy for this award.
Yeah,
there's some links in the chat. Like that. That'll be. I'll have to look at that if I want a good laugh later. Okay. 1 year later, Disney brought him back to direct the third installment of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, which still hasn't been shooting yet. The decision to banish Carano from the Disney Kingdom went higher than the Mandalorian creator Jon Favreau and was made by Lucasfilm executives Kathleen Kennedy. That's Kathleen Kennedy. I'd lay even money. That's Kathleen Kennedy.
Who else is there? There's Kathleen Kennedy, Michelle Redjuan, and the new chick.
Yeah, and the Bob Iger and Alan Horn. Those are the only ones. Take your pick. You got a 1 in 5.
Alan Horn doesn't have firing permission, as far as I know, anymore after his debacle with James Gunn.
I was going to say, I don't even know if Alan Horn knows where his office is.
1 in 4. You have a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right. Take your pick. Carano's sources say had repeatedly been warned by those around her about her social I want names about her social media post. With the actress even noted publicly in September that her Mandalorian co-star Pedro Pascal, who has a trans sibling, educated her about the use of pronouns after a social media flare-up. She knew it was going to alarm people, says one person in her orbit. Why would you put Favreau in that position? Well, why do you want her? What's so important about her listing her pronouns? What if she doesn't want to? What if she wants to keep her pronouns private? Or what if she wants to keep those
No, I know that's the problem is that the people that supposedly fight for freedom of choice, they don't want to give you no choice.
Carano's ouster had a domino effect with Hasbro ending production on its popular. I gotta go to Walmart, see if I can find that. On its popular Cara Dune figure. Hasbro says there are no current plans to create more Dune products. Amazon appears to have pulled most of its Cara Dune toy merchandise. When asked why, an Amazon rep declined further comment. Meanwhile, Dune action figures are seeing brisk sales on eBay, well above the original list prices. Insiders say Cara Dune wasn't part of Star Wars series Next Up, a Boba Fett spinoff, but expect that the character will be recast down the road for both story and merchandising reasons. Oh, that's going to go over like a lead balloon. For her part, Carano will be producing a film with Shapiro's Daily Wire. I am sending out a direct message of hope to everyone living in fear of cancellation by the totalitarian mob. Carano stated in February 12th, I have only just begun using my voice, which is now freer than ever before, and I hope it inspires others to do the same. Carano's firing comes at an inflection point for Lucasfilm, which was previously criticized for not more strongly defending Star Wars sequel trilogy stars John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran from the racist bullying online over the years. Stop right there. You screwed over John Boyega.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You shrank him on the Chinese poster because China still doesn't like black people. And
did they shrink them or just completely remove him?
No, he was shrank. I mean, some people are saying,
That's
he
worse.
was removed, but no, he's like completely shrunk down.
And
I can find an audio visual.
And they removed Kelly Marie Tran from the Rise of Skywalker poster.
You don't even have to go to China. Lucasfilm is racist and discriminative of their characters. Those writers should be fired.
J.J. Abrams said to John Boyega, "Are you ready to lead?"
Yeah. I mean,
and you pull the bait and switch.
Disgusting. I mean, just the character of Finn was such a promise. You remember, Nick, as far as those trailers, it was like, oh, a stormtrooper that's gonna be a Jedi. What?
Yeah, when before the Force Awakens came out, I was like, this could be interesting.
Correct.
Take a look at that poster. It's like fucking Where's Waldo?
No, it's in China. It's fucking BB-8 the movie is what it is.
When they just turned Finn into a. Sorry, I just want to finish. They just turned Finn into a glorified janitor.
Yeah,
that's not discriminatory.
Well, they did that in the same movie they introduced him in. They told him he was a janitor in the same movie they introduced him in. It was like, well, wait, why was he on the front lines of an imperial operation if he's worked in sanitation?
Yeah, that made zero sense. And when did stormtroopers start taking care of scrubbing toilets and stuff? Like,
yeah, if anything, it's those guys with the weird Darth Vader-like helmets and the gray bodysuits without the armor.
The
operations dudes.
And when he complained to get more screen time for the last film, they wrote like horrible comedic banter between him and Oscar.
Well, not only that, they went and tokenized him by forcing him to be with that other chick.
Yeah.
They segregate the black characters and they segregate the white characters.
Well, and then all of a sudden, then Oscar Isaac's character had a shadowy past. He was a spice smuggler.
You know, they got to make it more like Han Solo.
Not for nothing, a buddy movie between Finn and Oscar Isaac would have been more interesting.
It would have.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the thing is, unlike the original trilogy, we were giving, outside of these characters not having any character whatsoever, pretty much, they were never really given any time to interact. We're forced to believe that they're friends for what reason? They barely have any time to get to know each other, and the most of it's in Force Awakens.
Yeah. The C-3PO, I'm taking one last look at my friends. They fucking hated you!
Yeah.
Yeah. Worse than the other people.
Yeah, and you have the caliber of actors as these because these are really good actors, all those three. And you this is what you almost ruin their careers. Oscar Isaac couldn't wait to get the hell out of there quicker.
No.
He's like, I ain't coming back for none of this crap.
Unless he needs a new house.
Or return to the stand, but it won't be with Star Wars, yeah.
Well, let's finish this up. Okay, let's finish this up. On January 23rd, the company signaled a shift when it put out a statement of support for Christina Ariel, who actually tweeted racist stuff, the host of the High Republic show, after she was subject to racist bullying threats. She's the one making the racist bullying tweets! Industry observers note that for the companies such as Lucasfilm, taking a stance against offensive behavior sends a signal to both employees and fans of marginalized backgrounds that they are valued. You need an inclusive and welcoming tone from the set from the top, says Andre Carrington, author of Speculative Blackness, the Future of Race and Science Fiction, an associate professor of English at the University of California, Riverside. One manager who is outspoken clients and has dealt with elements of cancel culture is advising vocal clients to cool it down politically. Says the manager, if you're too far on both sides, it hurts you. For God's sake. Fuck right the hell off, will you?
This is also an awfully poorly written article, man. This is not even.
Isn't it written by like 3 different people?
It's actually, I'll tell you what, it's not even written by 3 different people. It's written by one person. All this shit is shit coming directly from Disney's PR department. This is exactly what they were told to put in this. Am I right, Script?
Oh, I would not be surprised at all. This is a pre-written statement, and these 3 writers are like, well, how do we make it sound more Hollywood Reporter-ish?
And then you get the quote in from a professor who has got a book. Oh, well, this article must be legit.
This guy writes books. He must know what he's talking about.
Books.
This guy writes book, singular. Yeah, you know who else wrote a book? Marv Albert.
How much is left of this? Because we already pretty much know.
That's it.
Okay, yeah. So basically, chances are it was Kathy's call. Favreau had nothing to do with it. Went over his head. He may have even found out the same time Gina did. And this whole idea of her people negotiating with, I think her agency and her PR group just basically went with the left on this, and they didn't tell her shit. They were trying to negotiate stuff. As soon as they knew she wasn't going to budge on anything, they all dropped her.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, how can you not know your client? A bunch of idiots, and good.
They're
good
trying
for her.
to,
Good
yeah,
for
no,
her.
they're trying to stick to this whole fucking thing with no, we're not trying to kowtow to anybody but the left. You know, bullshit. And it's in fucking black and white. It's the same thing with Kurtzman over on Star Trek. Oh, we got to use this as a platform. The platform's more important. The message is more important. No, fucking entertaining your goddamn fans is your job. Okay? Nobody, for the most part, most of the world don't give two shits about what Gina fucking Carano said online. No, most of the world don't care, and they weren't even aware of it until this shit happened. And now you've basically taken all the goodwill that you did have and chucked it right the fuck out the window. Because I know at least a couple people on this panel who are like me, who are like, you know what? This Mandalorian stuff's not too bad. You know, I'm enjoying, a couple of characters on here. Gina Carano was one of them, Cardoon's character. And then they went and pulled this shit. We already knew that Baby Yoda wasn't coming back. So what the fuck you do this for? And like I said this last night with this picture here, that Baby Yoda right there, that's Disney. And Gina going out the airlock is a buttload of money in the Star Wars franchise with it. You just fucked it.
Yeah.
This thing was already on life support and you pulled the plug. Not only that, you stomped on the son of a bitch and pulled it out of the fucking machine because there's no way you can plug it back in now.
You put a pillow over its face, really.
But just to make sure.
Yeah.
I think she's also dead. Too.
I think she's dead. No, I'm not. Okay, sorry, Paulie.
Oh no. I think the fact that she was becoming more and more popular, her fan base was growing and growing. They saw the writing on the wall, especially with the return of Luke Skywalker's appearance. You know, that faction that hated all that stuff, and it's a small minority, right? But that are in power over there. I think they're the ones behind this all.
You know what, too? You know what? Actually, this probably stuck in Kathleen Kennedy's craw. It was a female character who was actually popular, and it wasn't Rey.
Wasn't one of hers. Yeah, I think you're right.
It was made up by Jon Favreau created this character, and Gina Carano brought her to life.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, Samoan Pirate, if that's not her. Because this is the first thing they've had come out of there that was successful, and it wasn't hers. At least it wasn't her initial idea. She can try and take all the credit she wants, but as I've pointed out before, I don't even know if she's really on the ground as much as we'd like to think she is. Because as far as I could tell from most of her interviews, she's completely oblivious as to what's going on in her own house most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, Santa Hammer said she didn't pull a coup d'etat. She's just reminding you who's in charge at Lucasfilm.
She's trying to.
Yeah. I tell my husband Frank, I'm not going down without a fight.
And one thing to sort of note here is that
thank God I'm not fighting.
Yeah, one thing to sort of note here is that Gina Carano will probably not work with Disney again, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Favreau, Peyton Reed, Bryce Dallas Howard, Taika Waititi want to work with her on another project that's not associated with Disney, and she takes it because those people like her and she likes them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They
can't control it all.
Yeah.
Is there a character over at DC she could play? I mean,
yeah, there's a few that people have been bringing up. Well, here's my other thing that I said from the start.
Yeah,
there's a few, and then anyway, I've lost my train of thought, but because you asked a question.
There's a few characters she could play, but you were saying
there was something else I was gonna. The whole thing with this show now, and the day that this happened is when I heard back from my contact on some of this stuff. And they had said flat out, the contracts weren't signed yet. The people at Mandalorian didn't give a shit about what she was doing online. And a lot of what I was told matches up with her side of the story that we got in that interview.
Yeah. And it's a perfect play because, again, like a lot of the media is going to be using the term fired, but the thing is, she was never given a new contract. So, and this is how it usually works. When you're fired from Hollywood, it's mid-contract, mid-production usually, and it's very, very dramatic news. Like we kind of saw that with The Expanse with that one character who was kind of written out of the latest season. He was legitimately fired. Gina Carano, they just said, "Don't call us, we'll call you," and that was that. And now people are taking that as termination, and it kind of is, but it's the Hollywood form of like, no, we're just gonna leave you alone for a while. You've done your own thing. It's a non-termination termination, so to speak.
Yeah, she's persona non grata in their eyes.
Yeah, there's like, no legal recourse for her to act because there's no violation of contract because she's already done her two contract,
which is what we've said before. Yeah. Like the only thing that she may have anything to stand on is some sort of defamation, but even then, in this atmosphere, she'd have a hard time probably. And toxic punctuality. To what degree is a firing like this de facto blacklisting in Hollywood? In this case, it is completely blacklisting, as Dalphide has pointed out here. It's not just Disney; all her reps effectively blackballed her from the industry as a whole. And yeah, nobody else is going to touch her right now because of this. And this is the same reason why I'm sure there's a lot of people who support her are deathly afraid to come out. Even people as big as Jon Favreau, because he's actually faced this kind of stuff before, right, Script?
That's right. After Iron Man 2, there was a somewhat of a debacle. There's stories that, he got a little upset with some fans' response, and he made some, didn't really say anything horrible, but he just made some poorly worded defenses of his film. And then on top of that, Disney was not too pleased, and he was kind of put in director's jail for a little bit, but he made amends and he built himself back up, and now he's this guy that had, kind of put Star Wars back on life support with The Mandalorian, and he's not a fan of cancel culture. It's antithetical to who he is as a person. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he's just as upset, and I would not be surprised if he had like a secret call with Gina and be like, "This is not what we wanted. If anything ever changes, we're working again in the future. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where, but he's probably did some sort of that conversation, and to show her support, and also show her support with her new upcoming project with the Daily Wire and their attempt to make a studio.
Yeah, and this thing kind of throws the entire Star Wars spinoff situation into a tizzy, because if this Ranger show was supposed to be about her, then I'm assuming it's dead in the water.
But I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it would be more in line with the X-Wing pilots that we saw in the series, because those are more Rangers. She's right. A Marshal. Her entire character in Favreau's goal with her was her and Carl Weathers.
Oh, there she planet. Is. Oh, there's that planet. There's the devil right there.
Well, here's the video we were talking about before.
It looks like she has red eyes in that.
Getting ratioed to fuck.
I am the Senate.
I am the Senate. It only has 4,700 views, 1.5 thousand dislikes, and 52 up. I'm surprised they haven't disabled the comments yet.
Is that from whose channel? Is that a trade channel or
Oscars?
Oh yeah.
She won a technical award.
That's the industry defending her. That's exactly what that is. That's the industry now trying to defend her.
Well, Disney's incredibly powerful, and they want to take they basically want to be Palpatine saying, "I am the Sith." Disney wants to say, "I am Hollywood." And truth be told, like, Disney isn't. They're just hugely powerful in Hollywood. There's more normal people in Hollywood that are in fear of Disney right now because, again, you do something like what Gina did. Disney makes a call, says, "Hey, UTA, you want any of your clients to work with us? You're going to have to drop Gina." And what does UTA do? They're like, "Okay, bye-bye. Bye, Gina."
No, this is my point. This is where people are like, because we had a lot of spin come out of this. Like, oh, but see, this firing of Gina isn't canceling. It's not really canceling. I'm like, no, yes, it is. Because her agency dropped her. There ain't nobody right now who would hire her. And that's why she went and did the Shapiro deal, because that's why. If it wasn't for that, she would be in a situation right now where she would have nothing. Like, nobody would take her right now. And that's why I know for a fact that nobody's going to come out in support of her, because they're afraid of the same thing happening to them. You can believe what you want, but I can see it from that point of view. It's pretty obvious. You know? I don't know what else anybody can do on that, but I know we got some super chats we're going to get to here shortly before we get into this KK video. I don't know if we're going to actually watch the video because it's Oscar related and they're real sticklers.
But remember last time, like I can't remember what the circumstances was, but Kathleen Kennedy was the public opinion and the narrative was turning against Kathleen Kennedy. What happened? She got a lifetime BAFTA award.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what they do. They're gonna protect their own. And Script's right. They live in fear of Disney. If Disney suddenly start throwing their weight around and decided to punish the Academy of Film and Science, there'd be serious repercussions. Says, you know what? Yeah, you know what? We're gonna withdraw our support from the Academy. Oh no, please don't. You know.
No, it's more so. I think they're more than willing to help.
I am the Academy.
The other thing too is that she's a woman.
No, I think you're right.
And she's a woman, and they have to protect her.
That's what I'm saying.
Because then she'll scream "Me too" from the heavens, from upon high. So the force she did all that. Force is female. The force is female. She wore that shirt. So yeah, she's built her brand on that. That's what Kathleen Kennedy's built her brand on now.
Yeah.
On empowering women.
Well, we'll get back to that, but I want to get to some of these super chats because we're getting quite a few, and I appreciate you guys being patient. Willie Woodward sent one in, says, I want to see Bat Tom versus Mickey Mouse Toon, please. I don't know about that.
I'll take you, Bat Tom.
Where? It's cold outside and you don't have a coat on. In fact, you're hardly wearing anything. All you got on is shorts. That's really weird.
That's a good point.
You should really put some clothes on, kid. Thank you much, Willie. Lord Trinian, thank you so much, says KK is flaunting her power and bragging about taking back control of a house burning down. Talk about Pyrrhic victory. Yeah, you're so right. Well, she's re-burning it. It was already the fire was kind of put out, but then she's starting it again.
She's the one that poured the gasoline and lit the match.
That's what I'm saying. She's making sure the some bitches get stoked. It was already kind of dying out, but she made sure she stoked that real nice and hot. Thank you for that, Lord Trinian. The accordion, Arcadian. I am so Orcadian. I cannot read today. Hail, Midnight's Edge in the morning. Thank you so much for all you do from Orkney, Scotland. Well, thank you so much. Glad to hear from Scotland this morning. Well, I think it'd be your afternoon or evening.
For Scotland.
Yeah, it'd be early afternoon or mid-afternoon. Yeah,
it's early afternoon in mid-Scotland.
Scotland. I sent Rob something kind of cool that I don't even know if he knew existed.
What?
That George Miller album. Did you download it?
Oh yeah. I haven't downloaded it yet.
I'm gonna have to resend it to you if you don't.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, what's really cool about it is it's George Martin. He produced this album of Beatles hits, but he's got like movie stars and other famous musicians singing the song. And In My Life, it's Sean Connery basically reading his poetry. And what I did with that song is I took that version and I mixed it with the original version of the Beatles, and I used to play it at the radio station. I get requests for it all the time. It was really cool. But like they got like Jim Carrey singing I Am the Walrus on there. Robin Williams is on there. Phil Collins is on there. All kinds of people. It's actually a pretty cool album. All right, moving on. Valiant Renegade, who is a friend of Echo Base Networks, is one of your wrenches as well, is it not?
Yeah, yep, good guy. And
I think I talked to him for like 2 seconds before.
Yeah.
I'm playing the waiting game, he says, to see what happens with KK's contract this year. It runs out October 30th. If Disney extends again, then it's Star Wars funeral. I don't even know if it's really active still at this point, but I don't know what's going on over there. They brought in this new chick, though, and we've been hearing the rumors that she's being kind of basically groomed to be her replacement.
Well, this new lady is just a paper pusher. I mean, that's all she really does.
Well, that's all fucking KK does.
Well, but she got too high of an opinion of herself, KK, and she didn't realize what her actual skills were. I mean, that's the problem.
And she hired everybody in those story groups and everything, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and I think Yellow Flash is right. I think this entire Gina thing just proves that Disney does not give a shit about winning back the fans, at least not in any realistic form. They're more worried about being seen on the right side of history. That's all they're worried about.
Which is crazy because I don't know anyone that can see the future.
No, but we've been saying this for a while. Like, that's what this is all about. It's not about the money, because if it was about the money, it had been done a long time ago, because they already fucking killed the franchise. And anybody who wants to sit there and say, oh, well, they made money off Star Wars. No, they haven't. They really haven't. Because if you actually sit down and do the math, there is no way they've recouped the investment that they've made after you spent all the money on the movies, all the money on the parks. No matter, they still have not made enough.
They haven't made technically anything.
No, not really. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's even if you probably factor in the merchandise, which has done what?
Which is tanked, actually.
Yeah, completely tanked.
So like the merchandise is what kept Lucasfilm and Star Wars
going.
Like mostly the toys and video games, and the books were a nice little line item too for many years.
Basically in that order too, yeah.
Yeah, in that order. And yet when Disney acquired it and made their own decisions, like I don't remember I remember BB-8 being a massive toy popularity for The Force Awakens, but as soon as The Last Jedi hit, no toy numbers, no massive rushes to stores to get action figures of Rose Tico, except for I guess one guy who we all know and adore. But yeah, like no, nothing. And that's a big part of what makes Star Wars profitable is the physical toys, the all the merchandise. That's where the real money is.
Yeah.
There's a couple people out there that were on the whole Porg kick.
Oh, I remember Porgs actually that was more of a blip. I remember BB-8 still selling and being talked about longer than Porgs.
Yeah. And then, Mecha liked Porgs. Still does.
I hear they're delicious.
They probably are. Pulled pork sandwiches. All right, next super chat we got from Killer Stove says, with $20, thank you so very much for that. Take what I would have spent on Disney Plus over the next few months. I'm out over this, not putting a cent into the Disney ecosystem until they gut the rot. So I'm likely swearing them off for life. Well, sorry to hear about that, but thank you for the donation, and we appreciate that. And I canceled it too. We no longer have a Midnight's Edge account through there. So yeah, there you go. Moving on to the next one, but thank you so much for that one. Silver Nova says, Ryan says his trilogy is still happening. That must mean that the sky is green, hell is frozen over, and Bigfoot is an executive producer. Yeah, I was going to comment a little bit on this. We're going to bring that up later, but why don't we take a quick feel of the room now? Because I think this is pretty simple. Like, none of us really believe this, because it's been 4 years now since any movement's been made on this supposed trilogy that he keeps threatening us with, right, Script?
Yeah. Listen, it's not going to happen until it happens, and I doubt it's going to happen.
Well, I will say after Gina's fired, there's more of a chance of it happening than there ever was before, but
entirely possible. But again, it wasn't announced during the investors meeting, the big one. It was instead Rogue Squadron, which is not a trilogy. It's just a single film by Patty Jenkins. And if anything, like you would say that's kind of where you want to be. Like, Rian Johnson's trilogy is in development, and but to hold you off on that, we've got Rogue Squadron by the hottest director in town, Patty Jenkins, but they didn't do that. They just ignored it altogether. And I would say it's unlikely, but if it does come out, a lot of people on YouTube are going to make a lot of money off of that, and Disney isn't. So there's that.
There you go. Rob, or Nick, what do you think? You think we're ever going to see the Rian Johnson trilogy?
No. not at all. I don't see that trilogy ever getting done. I think he is completely trolling at this point. And it wasn't even anything official. It was just him talking to some woman who's writing a book or something, and he had made some comment to her.
Yeah, it was like some contest, and the person who won it was able to interview him, and that was, of course, one of the questions asked because, yeah, why not? You're gonna get yourself viral then.
Yeah, I almost question if it wasn't like planned for him to say that just to kind of pull some attention away from the Gina situation, like let's rile up the fans with the Ron Johnson stuff again, so we can kind of get over this Gina situation,
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think it was a big power play to be like KK still showing that she's in charge or trying to show that she's in charge. And she probably encouraged Ryan to say this. Now he's going to get a trilogy, but it's going to be called Knives Out.
Yeah. And I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy wants him to have his own trilogy and do his trilogy. But the people above her, I think, are probably not going to let that happen.
Yeah, I don't see it. But no, I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't something that was pushed out there to try and distract again a little bit from that. Paulie, what do you think? You think we're ever going to see a Ryan Johnson trilogy?
I think the best thing that Ryan Johnson ever did was cast Ana de Armas in Knives Out. And that is all I have to say.
There you go. That's all you're going to say about that.
Ana. I love Ana de Armas. Except, I did hear that Ben Affleck threw out her cutout cardboard after they broke up, and that was pretty heartbreaking. Maybe Ryan Johnson grabbed it, Oh,
jeez.
So, just remember, no matter how good she looks, somewhere somebody is sick of her shit.
That's right.
With that, Rob. Oh, go ahead.
Hence Ben Affleck kicking her cardboard to the curb.
Rob, I'm sure I know the answer. You don't think Cartman's going to get his trilogy?
No. I'm like, I keep, and every time it comes up on social media, I put up the same gif. I'm like, yeah, it might, like Wayne, like Mike Myers from Wayne's World. Yeah, it might happen. Yeah, and maybe one day monkeys will fly out of my butt.
Rob's eating. Welcome, Andre. You're late.
Well, sorry about that, but hey, better late than never, right?
Do I actually get to do this for Andre for once?
You're fired. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
How long have you been waiting to do that?
I've been waiting exactly 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 44, 45, 46.
Oh, there you go. Well, and I'm here now. So yeah, that's really
yeah.
Good.
We already covered.
What are we talking about today?
We covered the Hollywood Reporter article. We were just coming off that, doing some super chats, and the most recent one, of course, we were going to get into it anyway, but I think we all pretty much feel the same way about it. We can cover it pretty well like this. We already asked
the Ryan Johnson trilogy.
Like I said, the only trilogy he's getting is Knives Out. What do you think?
I think that first greetings everyone in the panel. Sorry I'm late, but yeah, finally, and also greetings everyone in the chat. And I'm so glad that everyone here kept you entertained. So yeah, sorry that I came and brought the mood down, but here we go.
No, not at all.
As for the Ryan Johnson trilogy, I think that you are right on the money. I think that this was something that was... you will note that there is nothing official about this. This didn't come from the Hollywood Reporter or something like that. It was from a publication, but it's referencing something that he said. We still have no time frame. We have no cast. We have nothing. We have him saying, oh, his trilogy is still coming sometime down the way. So like it's at some point down the line. He's busy with other things, but maybe at some point. That's like the usual stalling we've been hearing since the last couple of years, since it was clear that The Last Jedi really wasn't the hit that they thought it was. So I think that this is something that's now making the rounds. Maybe it's Ryan Johnson trying to shift attention back towards him. Maybe someone think that people will be excited and will forget all about Gina Carano. I don't know, but I do have to address this real quick. Slimer Snarf, I love that that name, sent us $100 saying good morning, Midnight.
Good
Thank you so much.
Holy cow.
Love that icon. That brings back
do.
happy childhood memories.
Yes,
Slimer rules. Snarf, not so much, but hey, for the Slimer.
Hey, Slimer is the best of them. Slimer is the best of them.
Yeah, Slimer is the best. Yeah, of all the Orcos of the 80s, Slimer is the second or third best.
I'm
sorry, Tom. I was
about to say he's good as Orco.
Just be glad you don't remember Batmite. So that's from the CBS.
That's the lower end. That's like
that's right down there with Snarf, isn't it?
Yeah, except for the Batmite from Batman the Brave and the Bold, played by Paul Rubens. That was actually a pretty good Batmite.
Yeah, that sounds pretty okay. Paul Rubens.
Pee-wee Herman now.
That is, yeah.
I know you are Batman, but what am I?
Where did he get that one toys?
Who was the Dark Overlord and Howard Stern? Howard the Duck.
Oh, that was Jeffrey Jones.
Did you call him Howard the Stern?
Howard the Stern.
You know, I have such a bad memory from that movie recently, but in their best day, they wish they could be the slimy kid.
Wait, didn't you watch Howard the Duck like last week?
Yes, you did.
It was a horrible time.
Oh, but come on, Leah.
I tried to forget it already.
Exactly, Andre.
Come on,
I loved that movie when I was a kid. It does not hold up well today, though.
Thank you.
Oh yes, that was on, and that's what I was talking to you about yesterday, Andre. Is the movies to lose friends by?
Yes.
And Dune is one of these from these movies. Then
Dune is on the docket, and yes, we thought we'd get you involved, and we also thought you could pick the second feature because, like mine, I did a little theme. I did little people in costumes, and there's all kinds of other things that kind of go together with Howard the Duck and Garbage Pail Kids. So we figured maybe you could come up with a good one to go with Dune.
Okay, well, let me think of something to go with Dune, like maybe Millennium or something.
Oh,
Next.
Millennium, yeah.
Next.
And then we have we'll talk later about it.
Go ahead.
Anytime Doom comes up, I'm like, next.
No, but Paulie, I found something for that show when we do it. Siskel and Ebert voted Dune the worst film of 1984.
That's what I'm trying to tell everybody.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, but I hear
both
Andre
of them
loves
agreed on it, which is a rarity that they agree on.
Right.
Oh, okay. You know what? Here's like the thing then, because like Dune was a disappointment in 1984, right? Another kind of disappointment in 1984 was 2010, the year we make contact. The sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey. Yeah.
We'll think on that, Andre, because
we'll think about it.
But that's on Latino Slant Channel, and we'll talk about that some more later. But we got super chats to get through. That's what we're in the middle of.
Yes.
So thank you so much for that last one. Where were we here? Silver Nova was the last one. All right. So Matt Giles, thank you so much, Matt Giles, for the 15 pounds. I supported cancel Disney Plus. However, what if KK did this to indirectly use the fans to take the wind out of Mandalorian sales? KK trilogy bombed after number 2. Mandalorian now bombs after number 2? ? You may be right. That was something we were kind of hitting on, that she could be pulling some nasty sabotage thing. But I think a big part of it's just that it's kind of like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And as soon as somebody isn't in the proper bubble, everybody turns into Donald Sutherland and starts pointing and going, rah, or whatever, noise.
You know what? In this case, I think this is absolutely a case of both things being true at once. True. I think that she is someone that goes against their narrative, and that alone is reason enough to go against her. But at the same time, as I've heard you point out before, The Mandalorian is the biggest thing they've got going for them. And Kathleen Kennedy doesn't want it. She doesn't like it. It's not one of hers. She wants people to be excited about the Mandalorian and the Acolyte and all that drivel that they're making. So if she can like launch a torpedo into the bow of the Mandalorian and the popularity of that. I don't think that she cares one iota about Disney's bottom line, but that would be better for her legacy and for her mission and everything like that if she's able to sink the Mandalorian, and if she's able to get rid of a bothersome actress with the wrong ideology that she didn't cast, and she's able to devastate the Mandalorian in the process, then so much the better. That's what I'm thinking. Script, your thoughts on my hypothesis?
Yeah, I think there's truth to that. It just makes sense. Listen, we can clearly tell that when KK is leading the charge on her projects, they don't seem to go well. There's contentious behind the set with most of her productions, aside from The Last Jedi. There's a lack of fan interaction and positive response overall by comparison to something like The Mandalorian, and you have some, a battle of egos, if you will, and she's jealous, and she'll do anything she can to try and prove that just because she's not in charge of one thing, and it is successful now, that it too can go down the crapper, and so it gives her justification, even though it's completely manipulated by her and her cohorts.
That's what I think too, but unfortunately, this kind of thing works. I mean, there's plenty of examples of that where you have like one, let's just call it one thing that does its own thing, and then you have another thing that wants the first thing to fail, and then they create all kinds of problems and stir up all kinds of shit. And then they point to the first thing that really did nothing wrong, that was just there, and said, "Look at all the stuff that happened on your watch, even though we created it."
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other thing too is I brought this up to Tom, and I brought this up to the panelists. Is the other thing that must really stick in KK's craw is you have a quote unquote strong female character, and it's not Rey.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
And they had a couple in that show.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's not Rey. Like, we all know. Hey, Tom, remember I said about how Rey and Kira and a couple other characters they're pretty much all just self-inserts for Kathleen Kennedy. This is how she sees herself. This perfect person, perfect idealized woman who can do no wrong. Those are all
and that everyone admires and everyone looks up to all at the same time.
Yeah.
I just want to bring this to the attention. I think Yellow Flash had a lot to do with this, if he's still in the chat. Since we showed this, it's gone up 1,000 downvotes.
Wow.
Everyone, please, everyone, take screenshots. Take screenshots of the current thing and watch and wait and see those downvotes magically disappear. Yeah, and also pay attention to the view counts and everything like that, because I predict right here and now there's gonna be issues with this thing right here. They're gonna do something to whitewash the results.
They'll make the dislikes. You can like and dislike it, but it won't show up. Yeah.
I downvoted it and commented on it.
What was that, Nick?
I downvoted it and commented on it.
Well, I'm going to get into the comments here as soon as we get caught up with these super chats, or at least through
Meanwhile, Paulie, you were saying something.
Yes.
Oh no, real quick. Is she behind Jenkins and Rogue Squadron movie?
Technically, yes.
But her babies are the Acolyte and Mandalorian.
Yes. No, not the Mandalorian. The Acolyte. The Acolyte is the one that she is the most directly involved with.
Cassio, Keyboard, and Obi-Wan as well.
So,
Acolyte,
I'm gonna get you, Tom, on that one.
Andor and
it's not my fault they called him that.
So my question is, Andre, so then it seems, or just more like an observation, the male-driven properties, they don't really push at all. She's not pushing, right?
No.
Like the Ando, really. the Robert Rodriguez Book of Boba.
No, she doesn't care about that. Like that's all Favreau. Like the Favreau shows, they're not all male driven, because you have the Ahsoka series, that's Favreau, and you have the Cara Dune series, which was to be Rangers of the Republic. That was supposed to be the Cara Dune show. That was also, who knows what's going to happen with that now, but that was like Favreau.
Let me correct myself.
She has, yeah, sure.
Male showrunners. right? Diego Luna is executive producing his own show. Rodriguez is executive producer running his own show. That's what I mean. It seems like she's gonna dog those guys, dog everything except for her acolyte.
Well, you know what, too, though. I mean,
Possibly.
you have.
Okay, I just wanted to get your 2 cents on that.
But you know what, too, though? You have, she was criticized for not bringing in a female director for any Star Wars movies, and they bring in Patty Jenkins to direct this Rogue Squadron movie. I think it's called. But now that Wonder Woman
that Rogue
1984
Squadron is not one of hers.
Okay.
Rogue Squadron is not one of her projects.
Wow.
She no longer has green lighting thing. The Rogue Squadron possibly is something that is tied in with the Mandalorian, and that the thing that Kevin Feige might be producing. We don't really know, but it's not one of hers.
Well,
she
Andre,
is mostly restricted to the Disney Plus side of things, and to the Acolyte at that.
I can't imagine any of those people, Jenkins, Luna, Rodriguez, bowing at all on any level to this person, as far as creatively, production wise.
Well, Rodriguez doesn't. He bows to Favreau.
But do you know what I mean? Like she's got no control over these filmmakers. That's my feeling.
But the thing is, though, her reputation precedes her, though. That she's always fallen back on her reputation, but it was always because that she had more talented people working with her.
Well, and that reputation has taken a nosedive for that very reason, because now in front of the entire industry, Star Wars has failed. And although no one will say it to her face, we have heard from multiple people, I'm sure that you have too, Paulie, that her reputation isn't what it once was. Because she's royally botched Star Wars, and there's no one else to blame for the sequel trilogy and how poorly planned out it was. There's no one else to blame than herself.
Bob, but Bob's actually taking some responsibility on the matter, though.
That's the difference. He's actually taking responsibility, as you say. He did that right away. But whereas her, no, nothing. She's been very
not giving
quiet.
him an excuse either. But no, he did. He came out and said we made mistakes. He may not have said the right mistakes, but he also said, I take responsibility. The buck stops with me on Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, there is that aspect of it.
So, and also this movie, that is something that has been greenlit not by Kathleen Kennedy, but by Bob Iger.
Yeah, that's one thing we were told is any movies have to go through Bob. Cool. She can greenlight Disney Plus shows all day long till she's blue in the face. But as far as movies, she has to go through the proper channels, from what we're told. Yeah, and I think Scripps said the same thing too. But yeah.
Yep.
What about that real good Asian director that directed some of those Mandalorian? Didn't she go to Obi-Wan?
Yeah, she's over
on Kenobi.
Yeah, she's on Obi-Wan, and that actually is a strange one, because to me that, without me having detailed knowledge, that seems like something that Favreau certainly has nothing to do with. But at the same time, I don't know how closely involved Kathleen Kennedy is either. She reportedly had them tear up the initial set of scripts and start over. But beyond that, it may be the showrunners actually has more charge there. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Andres Fernandez says right now on screen in the super chat, KK is the captain of the Obi-Wan series. She will ruin one of the greatest characters. I expect her to castrate him. It was a story that need not be told. A rematch with Vader? Bonkers. Yeah, actually, that's my worry too. Yeah. My worry isn't just that she's going to ruin Obi-Wan, but that she might ruin both Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker, and Darth Vader, all for the price of one.
Well, they're all white males. Of course she's got to ruin them.
Well, and as I pointed out before, this was one of those instances where I feel like she's completely oblivious as to what's going on. Because remember, she announced that they had, a bunch of scripts ready to go. Obi-Wan series is coming. She had Ewan McGregor come out. All this stuff happened before The Mandalorian came out. Then The Mandalorian comes out. And then we get word, they got to retool Obi-Wan because it's too much like The Mandalorian. Where the fuck were you on this months ago before that? Don't tell me you didn't have access to those scripts. That just tells me that Kathy's fucking lazy.
I don't think that she even noticed that. I think it was like this Cathy Yen, or what her name is, the showrunner,
Somebody
who
else
came
probably
from
did,
The
yeah.
Mandalorian. She was probably like, this is just like what we did over at Mando. And then probably she was the one that went to Kathleen and said, I can't actually give the order to have everything changed here. Can you give that order? It wouldn't surprise me if that happened.
Well, I think that's proof that she had very little to do with The Mandalorian.
No, we know this.
I know we know this, but there's a lot of people who, we got to have proof. Well, here's some more proof.
Some people are in denial, so yeah.
But yeah, so let's get a couple more of these super chats out of the way, and then we're going to get a look at some of these comments. But thank you for that. I think Matt Gals was the last one. Yep. Thanatos Felicitas says $5. We should get the Disneyland Memorial Orgy, 1967 poster by Wally Wood trending. I don't think I've ever seen that, but now I want to Google it.
I'm Googling it right now.
I knew you would. Scott83 comes in next. To what point will Disney let Star Wars be destroyed before taking corrective action? Or are they content with letting it die to appease the woke mob? Kind of more the latter. That's what I was saying before. It's not about the money. It's about the message. And we heard the same thing from Kurtzman. And it's clearly on display here with what's going on. If it was more about the money, then it would be the opposite. We'd be seeing people like Christina Ariel and Justina and all these other ones getting kicked to the curb, and Gina would be getting not only her own series, but she'd be like the main star of The Mandalorian season 2. That's the thing. Yeah. Give a shit about the money. The money's there from these people that are backing these ideals. But until that's gone, none of this shit's going to go anywhere. And that's what we've been trying to tell people. And this new regime we're under now in America is not going to make it any better. It's just going to make everything
a million times worse, because now there's going to be extra funding. Now there's going to be bailout packages, and the requirement for that bailout is go woke. So right now it's going to be artificial funding specifically for woke things. So yeah, this is not getting better, and it doesn't have to be supported by the audience. Now, for a time going forward, it will be boosted by your taxpayer money directly.
Pretty much. That's why I had a bunch of people message me about all of a sudden when a bunch of these movies decided they were going to push their movies back, and that was right after all the bailout news. And I was like, yeah, because they're getting bailed out. They don't have to throw anything on streaming anymore. The only ones who are going to be HBO Max and maybe Disney. The rest of them are just going to sit there and wait. There's absolutely no reason for them not to. Outside of certain movies that have like kind of a window on them where you got to get them out because it's a sequel to whatever. Like people were upset about Ghostbusters, and I understand. I've been wanting to see Ghostbusters as well. But for Sony, it makes no sense for them to dump it now. There's no window that it has to be out by. If anything, they're better off waiting, because then they put more distance between them and the 2016 movie, So I can see completely their thinking on this is like, no, we'll just wait until theaters are open.
Yeah. Pretty much, that's exactly how it is. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but yeah.
Yeah, because the HBO Max thing has nothing to really do with theaters being closed so much as it does with pushing HBO Max, as we've said several times before. Anybody else have anything to say on that? Or
I'm still waiting on Top Gun 2.
You might get your wish. If Top Gun 2, if anything, that might be something to push Paramount Plus. There's some rumblings going on about that.
Which is a shame, because that movie was going to be quite significant in restoring normality. But,
the only thing is, I think Tom Cruise won't let that happen.
Danger zone. Oh, sorry.
It's all good. I don't think Tom Cruise will let the movie go to streaming, but we'll see. We'll see on that. Pete Burrows is the next one. Says, I saw The Last Jedi once, and that was one time too many. I understand.
I saw it 3 times too many.
I also only saw it that one time. I thought it was pretty in theaters, but I never ever had the need to rewatch it. Actually, I haven't seen any of the sequel trilogy movies. I only saw all of them that one time in theaters. Wow. Come to think of it. Of course, I'm not a big Star Wars fan to begin with, but like with movies like that, I like to rewatch, digest a little bit more. I never felt the need for that with any of the sequel trilogies.
I tried watching The Last Jedi again, and I got to the Mary Poppins scene and I quit.
That's the worst scene ever.
Yeah, same thing with Solo. I got to the robot and I quit.
They're also forgettable. They're just, I mean, they're garbage of movies, and I apologize to the people that worked in them and worked hard on them, but
film is product.
They know they're bad movies. The people that worked on them.
Yeah, they know. The people that worked on them, they got their paychecks worth.
Yep.
Like, I never feel bad for the gaffers or any of those people that worked hard on it, because really it's another job. It was project number 500 in the line. You did that project this week, and you'll do another one next week. You're gonna get paid anyway. So and it's not a passion project for anyone involved, maybe apart from some of the creators at the top, but everything is paid. There's no personal risk. Like, I feel bad for the people involved if this is something where someone actually put something at stake. They invested something of their own. This was like their one shot or something, like Delgo. That is something you should feel bad about. Like, look up Delgo. That was a freaking disaster. What happened to that?
Well, I should maybe correct myself, Andre.
But in this case, Schadenfreude is a word that I feel in this case.
Yep.
Well, yeah, and let me just correct myself, because Mrs. Slant's an actor in the business. There's a lot of pride in any work that they put in. A lot of time, a lot of pride, a lot of, and then when it flops or this and that, they are she's had twice two series get canceled, and this is after shooting season 1. It hurts, and I'm just saying, like, to be connected, I feel bad, like that these good, like, people are connected.
Actors
to this film.
are usually the last people I tend to blame when a production, unless you're in a situation where the entire production's smooth, clean, everything's great, all the other actors are great except for one performance. And then generally that one performance is the only time you can generally blame it on an actor or the director. And even 9 times out of 10, it's the director's choices that they gave that actor. You know what I mean? So, like, most of the time when I put blame on a film, it starts at the top. I go to the captain. It's either the director or the producer. And if it's not them, then it's the studio. And usually that's where the problems lie. Because even a good script, and script will back me up on this, even a great script will get destroyed in the process of making a film because a director just doesn't get it.
The director doesn't get it, a studio doesn't get it, or an editor. Even then, like, I know editors who deliberately convince directors to use worse takes of an actor's performance because of other aspects with regards to the composite of the scene. And therefore now an actor who is probably really, really good is showing something that doesn't seem very appropriate to their skill level. And that's the other part you have to remember as well, is like there's some people out there that just like to mess with things for their own, a chance to wield some power. And I've worked on some films that were not received well, and one in particular, like I've said it, I worked with props for the Suicide Squad, David Ayer's thing, and a majority of the crew were not happy with. I mean, they liked David, they liked a lot of the people on there, but they just didn't like the story they were working on. They were kind of miserable about it, but they did their job as best they could. And they tried to make the best that they can out of that situation. And that's usually the case when it comes to a movie where when the people are involved are like, yeah, this is going to be a bomb, but it's a paycheck, so we got to try and make it as best we can so maybe it doesn't bomb as hard.
Exactly. But everyone knows, everyone sees the writing on the wall in some things. It's like,
in most cases,
like for instance with the Suicide Squad, I don't think that anyone were deluding themselves that this is going to work.
Yep, and I never got to see the full script. I only got to see a handful of pages, and I'm looking at this and thinking, this ain't quality.
What were you saying, Paulie?
No, those are good points. I mean, those are fine. I'm just, and I'm not, I hope you guys know where I'm coming from, and maybe I didn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
No,
and that's fine.
And that's what I was saying. I generally don't blame the actors. Are usually the last person I blame on a movie.
Yeah,
because even then, modern era, because it usually would be in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. The actors, especially in television, had a lot more control over the content that they were performing, because they would just walk if they didn't like the quality of the show or the script, and that was dangerous for them, because again, the turnaround time for production and air date, especially during the start of TV when it was live performances, they're like, if we don't fix this script before we have to air, I'm not doing it. And that was a big thing. Actors don't have that power anymore.
This
because there's so many of them that would just be able to take their place instantly.
Yeah, Tom, this video is closing in on 3,000 dislikes.
Yeah, I'm going to bring it back up. People were complaining, and then there may be small children watching, so I just figured better take it off the screen for a little bit. They might think the Wicked Witch of the West is coming to get them. Merrick Barries, if I'm saying that right, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but sent in 25. What's PLN? That's
Polish.
Oh, wow. We've got people from all over this morning. Holy cow, you guys. Thank you so much for coming in. There's nothing with it. It didn't have a sticker or nothing, so I don't know if you wrote something and Google deleted it.
It's amazing. It's like, and some of the cities there are beautiful. I really enjoyed the time I was there last year. So, yeah.
And as Fanzine says, I'm always running people off. I don't know what that's referring to. But thanks for that. All right. Well, thank you for that, Merrick. Even though you didn't send a message along with it, or if you did, it got deleted by Google. If it did get deleted, just let us know in the chat. You don't have to send another super chat. Simone Pirate says literally $2 to get on with. I think that was at the point we were still goofing around and talking about stuff earlier. DCB Titan sent in $2. Holy shit, Rush Limbaugh passed away. Yeah, 70 years old, Rush Limbaugh has passed. We brought that up at the beginning. So those of you who don't know, that has happened. Bitter Truth Show sent in $5. Look, it's time to fight back against the left and get them fired as well. On Twitter, Data Racer has all the info you need to take them down. Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. I've been saying this for a little while now, just recently, because normally we take the high road. Normally we don't follow along with a lot of that kind of stuff. We try to, I'm against cancel culture in general, but I feel like fair is fair. If you're going to sit here and you're going to fire people like Gina Carano and stuff like that for what they're saying online, then it needs to be fair across the board. The fact that THR article basically admits that they're kowtowing to the left is a problem. And unfortunately, no matter what we do until things change, I mean, we can keep fighting. That's all we can do at this point.
Well, it's not getting them fired, just pointing out the hypocrisy.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not really for anybody getting fired per se, unless they truly deserve it or unless they did something that's an actual fireable offense.
Yeah. I tweeted actually this past week, when did Twitter become Hollywood's de facto HR department? It's not up to the Twitter mob to fire anybody in a kangaroo court, because then any one of us could happen too.
We've literally become an episode of Star Trek or Orville, what have you, at this point. It's
we have indeed, but yeah, that's where we are. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but
but all we can do is keep fighting, man. I mean, unfortunately, they're the ones who run the media, and
all we can do is keep sane in our wits about ourselves. That's what one has to do in cases like this. There's not much else we can do, really.
No, but again, I've started to turn. I've not turned the other cheek so much as I've just started to turn the tables a little bit. That's the way I'm at, and especially when you got people out there calling you a skinhead.
What you can do is that you can vote with your wallet, and you can make it matter. So what you have to do, I've said this before, is one, you do not support the things that you don't like, but you have to support the things that you do like, that you want more of, even if it's from a company that you don't necessarily like or agree with. In fact, then it's all the more important that you support everything they do that is like. Again, as I said in the last show, I'm going to highlight Marvel's Conan the Barbarian comics. That's the one comic line that they have that is not woke. Support that. That's how you send the message.
There's a line from Grand Theft Auto. It's not enough to like something. You have to throw money at it.
Oh, that's true in a way. But moving on, we do have some more super chats to get through real quick here, and then we'll get to this KK business. Let's see here. Cynical Lindsay sent in $3.99. I believe it was either a super sticker or just deleted your message. But if you did say something else, let us know. Cesario JPN says Babylon B is predicting that Amy Schumer is Cara Dune. Unfortunately, Babylon B becomes more accurate as days move on. I don't think they're going to recast Cara Dune. I think the character's done.
I think so too.
Sadly, yes, we will probably not be seeing seeing her under any current Disney regime.
Honestly, I hope so. Because
the,
I would, I don't want to see her recast. Because like the thing, if Cara Dune was a pre-existing character, then it would be a different matter. Then you would have a case for recasting. But this is a character that was created by Jon Favreau. Cara Dune didn't exist until Gina Carano inhabited her. There is absolutely no reason whatsoever to recast her. Now you just write her out of the series. That's the only way forward. If they recast, which of course they might, and that's just taking the piss. That would be just throwing insults.
Yeah, they're not going to recast. They're just basically going to give all of what they would do with Cara Dune to Katie Sackhoff with her character.
Probably. And John Davies said, "Who did the True Grit remake? Let them have a go at Star Wars." Wasn't that the Coen brothers? I doubt they wanted anything to do with Star Wars.
No.
Yes, somebody who needs to do Star Wars is somebody who's an ultra passionate fan and knows the IP, sort of similar to the guys that are doing Cobra Kai. I mean, they love the Karate Kid universe. They know it, and somebody who is passionate about Star Wars like that needs to work on Star Wars.
Well, that's only one of the qualifications. The other qualifications, they also have to know how to make a film.
Yeah.
Because there's lots of people in this community who definitely know their stuff about Star Wars, but making a film is a whole nother thing. You need those two skills.
That's why you need basically a creative and somebody who knows the world.
Filmmaking.
Yeah. So like that's where something like a Favreau Feige kind of thing, like that's why they worked so well in the Marvel universe when they did.
Yeah, I mean, remember, Kevin Feige was a guy who's a big fan of comic books and movies who then got into the film industry, and he learned the film industry, and then he found a way to incorporate his knowledge and fandom into making money in the film industry. That's a pretty good thing to do, but his passion was, his career, his film. And that's kind of what you kind of need. You need someone who has that passion that they're able to hold on to and able to use it in that new industry. And we don't know anyone entirely 100% like that in Star Wars as of now, just because their name has not popped up. They haven't risen to prominence yet, but I would not be surprised if there's at least a dozen of them out there that could probably do what Kevin Feige has done with Marvel. They just haven't made it to that point yet, and that can take years. For Kevin Feige, it took almost 20.
According to Cesario, I missed his super chat that I thought I just read. And there could be one or two super chats I may have missed, but let me know if I did, because before Andre got here, I was literally copying and pasting them into the private chat so I wouldn't lose them. But I don't think I missed any more.
Yeah, according to Tim 5 Corpian.
Tim Scorpion?
Yeah, Tim Scorpion, yeah. We missed his $2 super chat. Let me see if I can retrieve it right here.
Yeah.
Give me a second. That's probably easier, unless you have it copied there.
No, I don't have it here. Must have been one I missed.
Okay,
so we're looking then for one from Cesario and one from...
yeah, well, that's fine. I shall have them. Tim Scorpion, so with a 5, says, "Well, Disney lost the 'we can't fire women' card." There's the thing, though. There's an exception, because if you're a conservative, you no longer qualify as a woman. Then you are beneath contempt, and it's perfectly okay.
We don't even know Gina's technically political values, so they're making a bunch of gross assumptions.
They're making assumptions that they are.
And Ironcaster, I just haven't got to yours yet. So there's a bunch we haven't got to yet, guys. So
yeah, which other one was it that it was apart from? Yeah, it was the Cesario JPN. See,
that was the Amy Schumer joke.
That's the only one I have, is the Amy Schumer one before that one.
I'll see if there's anything else.
Yeah, see if there's another one maybe. But otherwise, then we still got quite a few yet to go. So
yeah, that was the Amy Schumer one. Yeah, I don't think there's. Oh yeah, and he also said for $10, stop anti-Semi, on Twitter. called out Disney with Pascal's tweet comparing the World War II atrocity to the U.S.-Mexican immigration crisis, and pointed out his misuse of a pic of caged Palestinians. Did you get that one?
No, I didn't see that one at all.
No, okay, yeah, there we go.
I'm wondering if that one even showed up on my
end. The difference between Latin people and Middle Eastern people? Is that my understanding?
And then just before that one, maybe missed those two, Scott83 said, to what point will Disney let Star Wars be destroyed before that you got them? Okay, yeah. Okay, and before that, it was Thanatos Felicitas who said, we should get the Disneyland Memorial. Okay, yeah, then it was just that one.
Yep, okay, yeah. Then we left off on
Amy Schumer.
The Amy Schumer Cesario one was the last one before that, yep.
Okay, yeah.
And then, so now we're on Samoan Pirate, where he says Pink 5 was more engaging film than new Star Wars. Ooh, not a good assessment there. So are you back online there, Andre? You know where we're
I'm back online.
Okay, go ahead and you can take them after. Well, the next one's for me anyway. It was hell yes when I was going off from her in the Steadfest said hell yes, Tom, when I was flipping out about Gina there.
Yeah. And in between the two, you had Fire Knight 013.
I missed that one.
Says, we love you, Gina, Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, you've said that one, right?
No, I missed that one. I said.
Okay, yeah. And he said, we love you, Gina, Kathleen Kennedy, KFO.
All right. So now you should know where we're at. And you can
so then we are at Primal Plasma, who says Kevin Feige is going to end up taking over. Watch. Well, I remain unconvinced, but we'll see. And Daniel Andor Perche says, for 1,000 Hungarian florins, my favorite YouTuber said this when the Steelers got stumped. You fucked it so hard. It's 9 months pregnant by proxy. Congrats, KK. And Stephanie Yanisek, Smuggler's Cantina, says, any news beyond this week Saw's damage control? Well, if you mean in terms of Star Wars, no. Beyond Star Wars, yeah, there's some, but we'll get back to that afterwards. And Matt Giles says, for 10 British pounds, thank you so much, Pablo Hidalgo looks just like Danger Mouse's partner Penfold. Was that like the little that under creature that burrows in the ground, like mole thing? Was that
the mole guy?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. And more news. KK has been down the pub slagging off Tom's dead TV. So, nice going, KK. And Brado Jacko says for $5, Silent Favreau is complicit. Filoni is feminist and BLM. Puppets writing about heroes who know nothing about real heroism. Stop watching it all. Well, in Favreau's defense, he can't really go out and stick up for Gina right now because the industry is such that if he were to do so, he might risk going down with her. Isn't that about right, Script?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason why I'm anonymous right now is because, and it's not even really on the Hollywood side of things. It's on the film industry in Canada itself. They're far more vicious. But yeah, he's not complicit. He's basically kind of cuffed, so to speak.
Yeah,
he's a prisoner right now. He's got to he's got to wait out his time until he sees an opportunity where he can kind of strike back and sort of reset the balance, so to speak. And you can't do that when you're cast so far out of the industry where you can't make an impact. Now, what's ended up happening here is that we have Gina as unfortunately the sacrificial lamb at this point, but she's got this second chance with another studio. So it allows her to still be in the game, but just on the outsides. And from there, you can actually do a coordinated, nudging in a more responsible and accountable direction. And it's going to take time and pressure. And Favreau's got the wherewithal and fortitude to do that. So he's not going to do anything to compromise his ability to try and right the ship as he sees it should be righted, so to speak.
Because Favreau is within the system, and if he is to change anything, he has to do it from within, abiding by all of the rules. Carano no longer exactly. Carano no longer has to abide by those rules, and this is exactly what she said. That now she can actually use her voice, whereas she couldn't before. Now she can actually take them on directly, head on, as a commentator. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah,
totally agree.
And as Script brought up before, this isn't the first time Favreau would have faced cancel culture if he were to speak out. So I'm sure he knows what could happen if he did. I mean, and I'm not trying to make excuses for the guy. Again, shit's not going to change until other people start to stand up. But think of
it as like an underground, so to speak. You got to sort of build your forces, play your cards just right, and maneuver yourselves in positions where if someone were to try to come down on you for wrong things, so to speak, they get a slap in the face by the hand of reality to let them know, like, yeah, your ideology is misguided, and you can't take all of us down without hurting yourself. So what's it going to be? And it takes time.
And as it is right now, if he were to stand up for Carano, and he have people in Lucasfilm that basically want him gone, and I assure you, Kennedy wants him gone. She doesn't want him there. And if he makes himself a target, if the Twitterati comes for him, and we know that Disney they're terrified of the Twitterati and have to do everything to listen to the crazy extremists from one side of the political spectrum. That means that as it is right now, Favreau simply can't defend her. He can't do anything. Because, then they'll come for him, they'll come for Mandalorian, they'll come for everything. And Iger and Chapek so far haven't shown the kind of fortitude that's required to that would give any kind of indication that they would back him if push were to come to shove. So let him play his game.
Let him play his game. He's essentially trying to do like the French Maquis during that contentious time of history. It's you got to play things, on the surface in one way and do something for freedom of expression, of speech, of opinions underground for the time being. It's while people outside forces kind of do their own stuff. And outside forces being us, the people with the money, the voting with our wallet, so to speak. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Indeed. And moving on from there.
Yes.
Ray J's World says for $5. Thank you so much. Based on how she is acting, I guess Kathy Kennedy refuses to retire. I would not be surprised if that's the case, if she's able to maneuver herself to another extension. I would not be surprised if that were to happen, but we'll see. And we've covered this before, that now, when there's not another job waiting for her, then she has less incentive to want to go. And Brett Cohen sent us a $10 Australian super sticker of a cute little doggy that appears to be laughing. Either that or crying in pain. So I think he's laughing.
He's probably laughing when we had the Kathleen Kennedy thing about which we're about to get to again here.
And Stephanie Yanisek's Smuggler's Cantina sent another $4.99. Thank you so much. I just went off on KK on that Oscar video. She's insane and needs help. Yeah, I haven't seen that video myself, so I look forward to that later.
We haven't watched the video yet, and I don't know if we're going to actually watch the video because the Oscars are kind of dickheads about it. But as you see, that dislike ratio just keeps going down, folks. Another
was it? I know
3.4.
Wow, wow, that's another 5,000.
It only gained a couple likes.
Remember to take screenshots because those dislikes are going to go away. So
and actually,
for posterity.
Why don't we do this now then for a little bit? Oh, go ahead, Paulie.
No. Quick side note. I was looking at some of the other videos on the Academy page, and there's one with a really famous star from Mexico, and those comments are ripping him. So I'm wondering if they're not censoring those, but they're censoring these,
Not yet, anyway.
Right. I mean, I was like, damn. But these videos don't get really any views, so this is a big deal right here.
Well, this got a bunch of views right now because of Yellow Flash, I believe, and probably us a little bit too, because I think Matt Giles just did went and commented on mine because I said, "Boy, oh boy, way to ruin a career and a franchise in one grand gesture." Duck Fisney, and Giles said, "Duck them in the ear." And then we got a bunch of people coming in here with like, "Get your politics out of my movies. Bring back Gina Carano." Fade in, you're still a horrible leader. You need to step down and never be within 100 miles of a Star Wars project. The fact that she's doing this right after she fired one of the best female characters in The Mandalorian for practicing her freedom of speech is truly abhorrent. I couldn't agree more. The woman who personally slaughtered the golden goose of the Star Wars franchise and personally made sure actual strong and independent thinking women are fired. This is cringe. You got a lot of guts coming in here after what you pulled. Oh, these are just, oh my goodness gracious. I'm trying to find one that's not negative. We stand with strong women. Me, well, actually, no. A secretary that is bad at taking notes but good at interrupting people.
They must have seen our videos, because I do believe that we're just about the only ones that have. But we really made a point of highlighting it whenever we got the opportunity. Yeah.
But look at all these lovely. I would love to read all these, but holy cow, these are just savage. I don't even see one.
Well, do screenshot them, and we can give something
we're
back
getting
by
for
doing a separate
right
video.
Basically, they're on screen right now for posterity here. But yeah, like, wow.
How many comments altogether?
I don't see one positive comment here yet.
Did you see mine?
Not yet.
Okay, well, mine's actually pretty new.
Holy cow. Well, before they turn the comments off on this video.
Screenshot it. Like funny stuff that we can read. So
you know what? They want to try people in the court of public opinion. We could do the same.
Yeah. Tom. While I read some more screenshot, more super chats, then. Do some screenshots.
That's basically what I'm doing right now.
yeah, I know, but like do stuff that we can put in video later.
Well, what are you seeing? I have it on screen. I can just.
I see that you have it, but I don't know how big we can get it later.
Right. I think Andre wants to get them screenshots so he can blow them up.
Exactly. That's what I want. I don't want to. Take screenshots, proper screenshots that we can blow up and have fun.
Be here for 12 years.
Well, not every single one of them. Like, choose some of the best ones.
Yeah, choose some juicy ones. Yeah.
Take 20 juicy ones. That's
better yet. Those who want theirs featured, send them to me on fucking Twitter. I'll put them in there.
Meanwhile, we missed some more super chats from Samoan Pirate, who apparently sent several. And let's see if there are some on others. I believe that. We missed, and well, I'll check from Samoan Pirate then before we move on. Let's see. I'm just going to go back to the start here and see what we.
This is what evil looks like. There is not one positive comment here. I cannot find one.
Well, what has she done to really deserve any positive?
Well, praise? There ain't even any KK bots on here. Shit, all we got to do is say Kathy's name once, and they come out of the woodwork.
Anyways, back to super chats. Samoan Pirate sent $2 saying literally $2 to get on with it. Did you get that one?
Yes.
Okay, then there was another one. He also said Pink 5 was a more engaging film than New Star Wars. You got that one?
Yep.
Well, then we got them. I don't see that there's
still some we haven't got to yet.
There are others that we have. Exactly. There's others, but we haven't gotten to them yet. We'll get there presently. Meanwhile, JCM, he said for $5 Canadian, anyone who says they want to be on the right side of history wants to be holding the rifle instead of facing the wall. Small-time tyrants. This is so true. Yeah, you have the people holding the rifle that wants to be on the right side of history. It's unbelievable. But that's where we are with the modern day totalitarians.
You know they're going to take this down.
Yeah, which is why I want you to like screen grab some really nice, good and juicy ones, like 20 or something.
I'm getting these for now, and then I will here. But
meanwhile, Silver Nova said for $5 Australian dollars, either KK's contract will be extended this year, or Disney will hire Gorilla Glue Girl as president of Lucasfilm. I have no idea who Gorilla Glue Girl is or what that refers to.
It's a funny story.
But I hope it's a series or something, or that there's more to it than than it might be from the title. But yeah, and Ironcaster says for $5. To Tom on any stream is the free space on the streaming bingo sheet.
I'm down with that.
Yeah. And Felicity Poubelle says for $5, is it possible that Bob Chapek is gonna let KK ruin things, not renew KK's contract, and then try to sell LFL for as much as he can get for it? I don't think so, because then Disney would be losing prime assets that would make the whole company worth less, and they would sell as a loss. So if he were to do that, he would actually realize a loss. That would be the worst thing that he could do. So I don't think so at all.
But it's not unheard of for Disney to do that, though.
Yeah, I agree.
They did it with Power Rangers, actually. They spent a massive amount of money on Power Rangers and then ran it into the ground, essentially, and Haim Saban bought it back at a discount.
Oh, so basically Haim Saban shorted it.
Yep. And he had no intention of buying it back because he thought he was going to keep it being successful. But as soon as it got worse and worse and worse under Disney's management, he's like, my name's associated to this. I can't let this happen. I've got to buy it back. And he was able to buy it for I think only a quarter of what he sold it for. So he ended up making 3 times as much money.
Well, that was an amazing investment on his behalf. Good going. I have to say. Yeah.
And the series is still going relatively strong as far as I know.
Yeah,
aside from the terrible Lionsgate film, but
well, then take back what I said. It can happen, I guess, but still, I think that Star Wars is too high profile a thing that they could do that with to sell it at a loss. So I don't think that's going to happen. I certainly don't think that. Yeah, and I certainly don't think that Bob Chapek is going to want to be the one to realize that loss. That would be very embarrassing. Of course, it would never happen with Iger. Like Chapek is one generation removed from it, but still, he would realize a loss, and that would be a very embarrassing one that Disney would never live down.
This is the best one, guys. Stop posting negative comments about Kathleen Kennedy. I'm tired of liking them all.
Oh my god. That's brilliant.
I wish I thought of that.
That's brilliant.
I cannot find one positive. I can find some that maybe are neutral, but nothing that's positive here yet.
And what's the award for?
Science and hang on, let me go back to the top. Holy crap, because these just go on and on and on.
They make it up.
Scientific and technical award. I don't know what for.
Well, it's probably for the new volume that new system they have, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Discover innovations and contribute. What did she fucking contribute?
Nothing, but it's Lucasfilm because
Tom,
they have like loads of patents and stuff.
Tom, it's the C. Montgomery Award for excellence,
outstanding achievement in the field of excellence. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Barf.
So it's nothing that she has done per se. But anyway, moving on with super chats because we have tried to get caught up a little bit here. Samoan Pirate said Dana White should have Gina fight KK in the next UFC. I would not be surprised if Dana White is going to step in and be part of the Daily Wire filming initiative. Certainly on the funding side, I would honestly be more surprised if that didn't happen than if it did. But yeah, I think that can be something special. And moving on,
to see Dana White involved. Personally.
Yeah, he has the money to invest a few tens of millions here in things that ideologically he would agree with.
Well, I love the way he runs the UFC. You know, he lets every athlete have their say without any consequence or punishment from the UFC. You have the athletes that will do Black Lives Matter. You have the athletes that are pro-Trump. You have like that's how it's supposed to be. Let people whatever you disagree on, but you don't your boss doesn't come down on you. And so UFC is really successful right now.
Yeah. The UFC is a completely different world though than Hollywood.
Getting close to 4K.
Yeah, but
but that's what I mean. It's a completely different world than Hollywood. But have him be involved with the thing from the Daily Wire, and then they can start building a counter Hollywood, because that's what they're trying to do. And I think they're gonna getting people from multiple disciplines, certainly on the funding side. I would not be surprised if he got involved. But we will have more on that in a separate video. Baroness Snark says for $5, I'm in the early stages of transitioning from male to female, and I'm fine with Gina not putting pronouns in her bio. F these Twitter control mobs. Well, there you go, and power to you. And Roll Titan says, I can see the Ryan trilogy being made as a lower budget Disney Plus movie where they can hide the numbers. That's not a bad guess, because Kathleen Kennedy has green lighting powers over at Disney Plus, and if she's able to allocate the money for it, it could happen there. You may not be wrong. And Stephanie Yanisek Smuggler's Cantina says for another $4.99, thank you so much. It was a Raylo who won that contest. She's notorious. So I guess you must have spoken about the contest earlier, guys.
Yeah, with the Ryan Johnson interview, yeah.
Yeah, well, a Raylo won it. And Mitch Thibault says for $5 Canadian, I would love a Ryan Roundhead Johnson trilogy if and only if he was obligated to film it on a $2,000 budget in downtown LA. The lulz. Yeah, that would be amazing to see him actually film something in downtown LA. That would be brilliant. And Gojira Star 5477 sent us $5 with no comment. So either a donation or the comment got removed by this platform. In either event, thank you so much for your support. And Comrade Commissar Yuri says for £4.99, are they just making bad decisions now just to spite us? There's probably part of that. It's probably part of it. Like they don't like you. Like you, Comrade Commissar Yuri, you are probably of a part of the group of fans that Lucasfilm and the Kathleen Kennedy clan view as problematic. So yeah, they will do things to spite you. And Bradman says for $5, even if it is a KK plot to sabotage Mando, it's still Bobby Iger and Disney's fault for keeping her in a position to do so, and they deserve what they get. Yeah, fair point. And Gojira Star 5477 sends another $5, this time with the message, KK's Star Wars is just a plague-ridden rat wearing a Star Wars suit. Well, you certainly know how to say it. And Samoan Pirate said for another $2, they'll pull a Last of Us 2 with all the down votes. Yeah, there you go. And Nelson Chareta says for $5, Lucasfilm Studios, you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
How ironic, because they say the same thing about us.
They do, absolutely. If we do like a new Midnight's Edge trailer, which we will, we probably should have like that. Welcome to Midnight's Edge, the most wretched hive of scum and villainy. Yeah. Because that's what they literally say about us. Not just us, but like everyone.
Worse, actually, but we're not going to get into that shit.
Yeah. And Andres Fernandez says for 100 Argentinian pesos, thank you so much. KK is the captain of the Obi-Wan series. She will ruin one of the greatest characters. I expect her to castrate him. It was a story that need not be told. A rematch with Vader? Bonkers. Indeed. And Thunderstorm says, Rey was badly written as a character. Why? Script. Why was she so badly written?
Oh, she has no wants or desires aside from waiting for her family to return. She has no goals. Yeah, those are kind of essential when it comes to having a main protagonist. I mean, Finn had a goal in The Force Awakens, get away from the First Order and just hide. I mean, it's a flimsy goal, but it's at least one that's driving all of his actions. Rey has no goal that's driving her action at all. And for one of your main characters, that's a big part, because in the original trilogy, Luke wants to get off Tatooine and join the Academy.
Fade in.
Han Solo wants to, get money to pay off a debt. Obi-Wan wants to kind of get back into the game of being a hero and an adventurer. Like Vader wants to find the plans to the Death Star. I can name all the wants that these characters have, but aside from, I guess, Kylo Ren saying, I want the map to Skywalker, and there's not, what does Han Solo want in The Force Awakens? Nothing. He's just bouncing around aimlessly. It's missing a lack of drive, and because of that, it's like a 2-hour half. It's a 2-hour movie that only is half of a movie. It's missing like the other part that makes it a full film. So yeah, that's the biggest problem with Rey and subsequently the rest of that sequel trilogy series.
I just want to note we didn't get one single one in the chat, so I'm just saying. Prince Andrew said, "Put one in the chat if you love Kathleen Kennedy." We didn't get one. We got a bunch of 2s and a 0.
Yeah, there you go. So
I saw
not much love
666 out there.
Here.
Yeah, we got a 666. We got a 5.
4977. There we go.
Yeah, well, that's the amount of dislikes now on the video. You know what? I think we've done enough super chats. Do you want to watch this video, guys? It's not that long. It's only a minute 42. Fuck it. If they claim us, they claim us, right?
Yeah.
Let me grab my vomit bag real quick.
Okay, you do that. You grab your vomit bag, and then we'll start this. Here we go.
Fade in. Lori Atkin. She was the first. Honored with a Scientific and Technical Award in 1961 for her work at Technicolor, Lori was a scientist artist.
She's done so much coke, you can hear it.
Ceiling breaker. Cut to 2021.
She's wearing contacts?
And Lori's pioneering legacy has become an expanding story of women shattering what is possible in
Is
the
it just me
science
or
and
her eyes
technology of
bloodshot?
filmmaking.
No,
This
yeah, they
year,
look bloodshot.
Haley Iben of Pixar Animation Studios, Kelly Ward Hamill, and Mary Ann Simmons of Walt Disney Animation Studios will be the recipients of the 24th, 25th, and 26th Science and Technical Award presented to women by the Academy. Haley, Kelly, and Mary Ann are honored for their innovations in hair simulation. And this year marks the most women honored at a single scientific and technical awards.
Hair simulation?
Is there work to be done? More barriers to break?
Which is
More
ironic because
progress to be
Kathy's
made?
known for simulating
Yes,
a
of
human.
But the story of women innovators making movie magic, their story isn't ready to fade out, not even close. Today, more than ever, cinema storytelling is science. Cinema storytelling is technology. And women are helping to redefine science and technology.
I didn't see one fucking woman in that whole
And
thing,
that
did you?
means the
Not just gonna say that.
Stunt guy. There's a bunch of stunt guys.
Cinema
I don't see any
storytelling is
women.
technology.
White man
And
holding
women are
camera.
helping to redefine science and technology in the movies.
God.
And that means a brave, bold future without limits for each and every storyteller.
Bold.
So if they're getting an award for realistic hair animation, that's a coding thing. So I mean, that's an accomplishment for those 3 ladies. That's I'm not going to take that away from them at all, because that's awesome. I remember the first leap in that with The Incredibles years.
But she ain't got
ago.
shit all to do with Pixar.
Yeah, she's just a presenter.
She's just a presenter.
Well, they
downvotes, folks. We did it.
Well, they want her just to trot out and, I don't want to say humanize her, but they, she has
They should
to
have fixed the lighting on her eyes because they look like demon things going on here. You can't see the whites. You can't see her iris. Her pupil looks
that's
like
what
it's
I was
white
saying.
instead of black. That's all weird.
They want to remind everyone that she's in charge of Lucasfilm and she has something to do with women in film.
What the hell is going on with her left eye?
It's got
the mask is falling off. The mask is falling off.
Okay, guys.
All of that aside, all of that joking aside, with her bears and everything like that. Like the only really bad thing here is that due to the changes in the Oscar, like you get all the accolades, and maybe they'll deserve it. But I think that the Oscar right now simply doesn't mean what it once did. That now there's such criteria and everything that they won it, but I think it will always be shaded by you won it in a year when no men could win.
There's that. I mean, the Academy and the Oscars are essentially just the awards handed out at a small business or corporate Christmas or holiday party. It's all internalized. It doesn't mean anything really. It's self-grandiose. Like the only thing Hollywood has done that makes it different is the fact that they advertised it and sold. They put on television and sold advertisements to make money off it, so that other people are paying for their party.
The Oscars haven't meant shit since Weinstein started buying awards.
I can't say,
but even less so now when you have like this extreme criteria for what is even like half or more than half of past year's Oscar winners wouldn't even qualify for Oscars anymore if they were to be submitted now, because they don't fulfill the quotas and criterias required to qualify for it.
You know what? There's going to be a movie by somebody like Robert Rodriguez or somebody like that, and it's going to get completely snubbed, and that's going to be that's going to be a huge black eye, and something undeserving is going to win.
No, Spike Lee's just going to keep bitching that he can't win, and then that's what's going to change everything.
Yeah, probably.
Every time I make a movie, white man steal my award.
But all that's going to happen is the Oscars are going to turn into a bigger joke than they already are. That's all that's happening. Yeah, Spike, how about making a movie people want to see? Maybe you spend less time at Nick games and more time actually writing something.
He's had like 3 good movies, right? Like,
well, not only that, like of his best movies, he backtracks on the message he's trying to send. He actually contradicts it at sometimes. It's like, what? Wait a minute.
I actually looked it up. Like every Spike Lee movie over the last like 20 odd years has lost money, except for like maybe 1 or 2.
Well, and that one, like a few, but
I loved a lot of his older work.
Yeah, some of his stuff's great. Don't get me wrong, but
Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, and He Got Game. And I even like Inside Man, so that's 4 movies for me right there.
Yeah, Black Klansman, one of his last ones, was actually really good.
I didn't like that one.
You didn't like that one? I thought it was really good.
No, because he regurgitated stuff from the past. That's like what
Anybody see Summer of Sam?
See, that's the thing is when he's not doing like a lot of his weird shit, he does great films. Summer of Sam's another great one.
That's why Inside Man.
Yeah, Inside Man was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But even hitting the social, I mean, Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X for me were really powerful. I was in college. That was a big deal. Those movies were a big deal for me. And I have to disagree a little bit, Script. The Oscars still are a shining light to a lot of these independent foreign films that are trying to get recognized, and
that's just because they're drinking the Kool-Aid, dude. Like you're talking about someone who's been in this industry for 16 years. I know the politics of it. I know the details of it. The Oscars are exactly an office corporate Christmas party type of reward system.
I know you already said you just said that 5 minutes ago. I'd like to finish my thought. Okay, was that it's still a shining beacon of light to these films in other foreign territories that are trying to get recognition and some props for their own cinema. I want to say their own cinema societies, what they're doing in their countries. And it is very much a what do you call it? A popularity contest, and I agree with you. However, there's a lot of movies that we would never even notice if they weren't even nominated or talked about. Wouldn't even be talking about them.
Yeah.
So
this is I
from.
agree with that. That's actually because also from the European perspective, if something just it doesn't have to win, as long as it's like Oscar nominated for best foreign thing, that opens so many doors and accolades.
That's what I meant. Script, you know. I do apologize. Didn't mean this.
Well, and I agree with you, Paulie. But my only problem with that was like, what was it, last year, or the year before that? Parasite won both Best Foreign Film and Best Picture.
Yeah, I'm not one or the other. You're right.
I'm not against that, but yeah, like you've got a situation where a lot of these countries already have their own Oscars. The Oscars here are technically supposed to be the American Oscars. That's why we have
but Tom, there's more to
category.
Yeah, but there's more to it. I will give one example. Here's like the thing. Do you know how many Argentinian movies have gotten like a wide release in Norway the past decade? I can tell you one, and that would Wild be Stories? That well, okay, maybe two with that then, but the one that I recall is like the story in their eyes, or look of their eyes, or the secret in their eyes, the secreto de los ojos, or something like that, because that one won an Oscar. And for that enabled it to get a whole worldwide audience that it otherwise would not have gotten. And it put the filmmakers and stuff on the stage in a whole different way than it otherwise would have been. So around the world, that one category actually does mean a little bit. Maybe it probably doesn't in the States, but it does for international distribution outside of the States.
But my problem is this, is like they changed a category. They created the best animated film category because Disney and Pixar kept winning all the damn time for best picture. So they made its own category.
But you had said something earlier,
category, you know.
Tom, you said something earlier about these countries having their own awards, and they do, but that's important too. You know,
and I agree with that.
When Spain nominates a film outside of its country, that's a big deal. And that, you know, and so these are, you know, it's just a big deal for new filmmakers, for new ideas, for new stories.
No, and I agree, and I'm not arguing.
Complain all the time, like, oh, you know, Hollywood, they got no this, they got no that. It's like, dude, stop looking inside the same Hollywood binoculars. There's fantastic movies all over the world, and that's why I think the Academies, on the whole, they do a lot of free film festivals that are online. You know, short films from feature length. So don't tell me that the Oscars don't mean anything. It is you know, it is nepotism, it is all that stuff, but they do bring a lot of good.
Oh no, I'll be the first one to argue, and that's what I've said from the start, where they said this crap where they were bringing in all this you know, rules into what what Andre was beginning with, is that's where I was pointing out to people, like, everybody's like, oh, nobody cares. I'm like, yes, they do. Hollywood fucking cares. If they think there's any chance that they can get a little Oscar gold or even nomination for something, they will comply to it. That's the way it works. To them, it is a big deal. And I know what you're saying, Paulie, about this whole thing. And that's what I've tried telling people from the start. My point is when you had a movie like Parasite win Best Foreign Film and Best Picture, that just, to me, when you had so many other films that came out that year, like Joker and Quentin Tarantino's film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and all these other films, Ford versus Ferrari, that were that were American films, American-made films that should have gotten that award.
Yeah,
and it's not fair. Bothers me.
Not fair. Like it should have been in one category or the other. You can't pick both.
Exactly. That's my point, and that's why they created the animated film category.
You're kind of changing the conversation of what I'm talking about as the intent. It is, I mean, it is only something of value within the system. It is not based on the meritocracy of it. It's basically a commercial for distribution. Those films that are on international circuits, if they didn't have awards like the Oscars, they would eventually travel. It just basically, the Oscars is just kind of like gaming the system for it on notoriety. And not only that, like Andre said, there were many other films internationally that are just completely snubbed or ignored by the Oscars. So it is a very much a double-edged sword. It only has meaning in Hollywood because Hollywood gives it meaning. It doesn't have to. What you really want is you want the audience, and you want the spread, and you want the international ability to have access to see these films without having the false prestige. And it is a false prestige of what the Academy of Motion Pictures and what the Junos and what Mexican films and Australian films and New Zealand and European films, all those things there are really just a showboat for something to self-grandiose as opposed to an actual meritocracy of what the audience actually
wants. It's still prestige. I mean, this is Hollywood.
It's false prestige, though. That's
it doesn't matter.
It's still prestige. That.
What's the biggest?
If it's false prestige, then no, it's not false prestige.
Of course, it's
prestige. It's
grand.
It's
not voted by the public. It's voted by the people inside. Therefore, it is false prestige. It's by the internals.
What's the biggest
internals of every category? Producers.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
right?
But gentlemen,
correct?
What is the biggest complaint about the Oscars every year for the last few years?
For the last few decades, it's films that are celebrated that most people don't watch.
Exactly. So yeah, it's prestige, but you know what? To the public, it doesn't mean anything. You know, most people
don't agree. No, I mean it's a big deal. I mean, it's still a shining beacon of light. It's Hollywood, right? It's entertainment. It makes the globe happy, right? So we look to the Oscars. Maybe not you guys or people in the chat, but the world still looks to the Oscars, and
because they're told to.
Oh, Dios.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Actually, you're both right.
You are. You're both right. You're saying Paulie's right. In a career, if somebody gets one, of course it means a lot to them, and of course it means a hell of a lot to their career.
Not only that, how many speeches have been given by famous directors who say, you know what, I make a lot of great movies, but I've never won an Oscar. And you're going to say that they're not, those movies, those things that they made are not a beacon because they didn't win an Academy Award, Paulie?
I'm right. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. No group.
You are both, if I may, you are both entirely correct here. But here's the thing that as script says, it may be prestige, and from the, but it's the prestige from the industry and not from the audience. And in that sense, it is fake. But when an international movie from South America, from Europe, from Asia, from wherever, if that gets an Oscar award, or even if it gets nominated, however fake that prestige may have been by Hollywood standards, it's very real for that movie and that production. And that's where you are. That's where you're both right. Because in terms of advertising and in terms of opening doors, and even in terms of making some kind of national prestige, because we still live in Norway on hey, we won an Oscar back in 1957, and then we got nominated again in 2001. Woohoo! Kings of the world. So yeah, and however ridiculous it is, that actually for many out there that actually makes a difference. However little it may matter by Hollywood standards, and as I said, that movie, the Le Secreto de tus ojos, or I butchered the title, but anyway, that movie, it might not even have gotten distribution in my country had it not been for that Oscar win.
Which is also a tragedy too, because
that's a tragedy, because I know, because the tragedy there is that we didn't get any other movies from Argentina or anywhere else. So that's the thing. But because of that, we did get that one at least, which is better than none.
Exactly. Here's the other part too. If, say, for instance, Harvey Weinstein and his ilk didn't manipulate the Oscars in the way that they were, and they were still kind of treated with a bit more of a merit and a bit more popularity as before, and we have the infrastructure we have today, we'd probably see a lot more foreign films circulating the internet and also the distribution market, because you don't have that distribution predicated from a foreign film predicated by an Oscar nomination, because now you've got something that's kind of been gaming the system for the last few decades that's actually working against international distribution of films.
Yeah. Not disputing that, but still, for the lucky lottery winners, then that's still a big deal. And who knows about anything else? And Tom has something he wants to show us. Some puppets of some kind. So you have to elaborate on that.
I just got a big box in the mail full of Muppets.
Okay. Very cool.
There's Muppets, like a bunch of them in here. Holy cow. Oh.
And Doggy couldn't care less.
No, Doggy, she'll chew on them. It's like a whole set here.
Yeah, well, very nice.
We got a Swedish chef.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Like each one has like 2 characters except for the chef. And then we got, here's Gonzo and Fozzie. That's super cool. Awesome.
Very cool. Something else cool. We have loads of super chats that I need to get caught back on. Vet Race says for $2, it's literally go woke or go broke these days. And Revcor says for $5, and the fact that Disney is hurting financially shows how stupid this is to allow Lucasfilm so much freedom. Yet beggars to mind. But again, they probably got some bailouts straight from your taxpayer money. So they're still hurting, but they'll be hurting slightly less. So they can afford to be a little bit more woke right now across the board. And Bogue says for 50 Mexican dollars, pointing out the hypocrisy does very little to a group that wants to see their political enemies annihilated. Yeah, it's very true. There is a breaking point. And again, that's a little bit beyond what we cover here, but you are not wrong. I think that pointing out the hypocrisy is probably more important, just waking up your own side, rather than trying to convince the other. Maybe some of them can be like woken up to what they're doing, but some are too far gone. And Master Clockwork says for $5, far as I'm concerned, everything Disney Star Wars is Elseworlds. Sorry, but that includes Rogue One and The Mandalorian. I'll only recognize Legacy. I think many feel that way. And Vetrace also says for $5, if only there was some event in history when a subset of society was viewed as not deserving rights as they were beneath contempt we could reference. Yeah, if only there was such a time. Actually, you have such a time in China today, and Disney's all for it. Not just Disney, by the way, but yeah, I'm not going to get into that. Lifting the Veil says for $10. Thank you so much. Script Doctor or all. Any idea who places the master esoteric symbolism knowledge into Hollywood, such as the Kabbalistic cube of space, the hex in the MCU or other media, screenwriters, etc.? Okay, Script, who is the one that knows of all of the esoteric symbolism? Who has the knowledge there?
Who has the knowledge, like, if specifically to the Marvel universe?
Yeah, it's not necessarily specific, but in general, both Marvel and in general is how I read the question.
Oh boy, there's a number of people, not many that I have names off the top of my head, but like, I mean, I know for the Marvel type of stuff, Kevin Feige knows all about that. Geez, that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I mean, I know some people that know like the esoteric, spiritual, and crazy magic and whatnot, but not like that type of stuff. I whenever you get into the supernatural in the Hollywood underground, I kind of try to avoid that because it's a weird rabbit hole.
And that's a very real thing, also, isn't it?
Yeah, not as big or prominent as you would think, but it's enough people are involved that it's
enough to be disturbing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Felicity Poubelle asks, why should Favreau risk himself when he didn't put Gina in the situation? She didn't have to post to Twitter or Instagram. No, she didn't, and he really can't do anything without risking himself, so he shouldn't, and that's the only logical course of action. And Pablo Papano says for $5, Script is right, but Favreau and any other normies with influence in Hollywood But if Favreau and other normies with influence in Hollywood don't stand up, this will never change. What do you have to say about that, Script?
Well, yeah, it's levels of influence. Like Kathleen Kennedy has more power with her influence than Jon Favreau has at this point, and it's a David and Goliath sort of situation. And so Favreau really needs to find is that one that he needs to find a slingshot, so to speak. And I don't think he has that as of yet. So until then, he's got to build up his own popularity and influence so that it can actually be something that can compete with someone like KK. And inside the industry, that has not yet happened, and it might not happen for a very long while. So it'd be foolish for him to do some strike now, given the fact that as influential as he is with the fans and on the public, inside of Hollywood, it's probably not at the same level or even at a competitive level to Kathleen Kennedy.
Exactly. There you have it. The Fessman 93 says for £5 on Rian Johnson's trilogy, I'll believe it when I see it. And Troy Pacelli says for $5, I just realized between the sequel Tragedy, that's a nice one, and Firing of Gina, KK essentially killed Star Wars twice. Yeah, not bad. And El Punk Tres sent us a 99-cent super sticker with a devilish face, so thanks for that. And X Morbius says for $2, I'll take screenshots. Where should I send them? You can send them to me. If you go to the about page on YouTube, you'll find the email address there.
Yeah, that or you can sell it to me too.
Yeah. And Mr. Tickled Frank says for $5, YouTube comments being the voice of reason. What reality is this? I can tell you, it would be the Gillette timeline, which is the one we currently reside in. And Mags says for $5, this is epic. Roast session, super effective. And Jay Ice says for $5, give Gorilla Glue Girl a job in Lucasfilm hair and makeup. She can't do any more damage than KK. Really have to find out more about that. And D. Carre says for $4.99, Dana White's UFC brand is on ESPN+. Ariel Hawani was supported by the ESPN staff. Ian Slater says, just clicked on the stream. What did KK do now? Well, probably you've been watching since, so you found out. And Darth Lovejoy says for £5 could Disney not pull an EA and close Lucasfilm and make Star Wars and Indiana Jones to a new division of the company? Well, they could if they wanted to, but it would be a pretty stunning PR defeat, and it also would undermine the purpose of buying the entire Lucasfilm brands. Like, the idea is that you sell Lucasfilm as Lucasfilm, just as you sell Marvel as Marvel. That's what they want. So they'd rather fix Lucasfilm, that brand, than admit defeat. Or do you have anyone have any conflicting views on that? Script?
Didn't George have in the contract when he sold that his name has to be attached to the company, like forever?
Oh, there you have it. Problem solved. So, yeah. Well, that ends the debate right there. And Mexican Iron Man says for $14.99, my analysis and review of the Disney earnings report noted their footnote where they wrote that Disney would no longer report, nor release, nor respond to inquiries as to their Plus subscribe count. Yeah, I noted that too, so that they are free to announce when they hit a new milestone, but beyond that, they're not going to say anything. So that's a really good observation, Mexican Iron Man, or Mike. It's to take note of that when they have something to report, they will when they hit a new milestone. And if they don't report on new milestones, then we know that things have stagnated. And Eski Monofono says for $1.99, she looks like an autonomous puppet. And Jesse Miller at the Crow's Nest says, holy chip on your shoulder, Batman. Vetrace says for $5, Kennedy has a chat filter up. I'm here live. I'm not human. Yeah, looks like it. And Tracy Wilborn says for $5, I love how KK reads the stage direction at the beginning and it wasn't edited out. Someone screwed up there. And Dog Files says for $5, we need to get active and start fighting fire with fire. We should hashtag Kathleen Kennedy must resign, and hashtag fired Pedro Pascal. They need to be pressured. Tiberius Monk says, of course KK is a Sith. She deals only with absolutes, and let the Palpatine be the final hero in a 9-film saga. Tom, the koalas are finished with KK.
Is that the cue?
Yeah, we'll save the cue for a little bit later. We'll have it later. Yeah. And Zero FPV says for €2, fake Luke was looking better. Bad CGI. And Cesario JPM says for another $2, I need cocaine from watching that video.
KK sounds like she's had too much cocaine. That's just
She's dipping into Frank's stash.
Yeah, possibly.
I ain't getting Frank out because then Andre will get mad.
All right, and with that, we still have a few more super chats to go through. Then, do we have anything else to report on as pertains to Star Wars and the Gina Carano situation? Because I came in a little bit late there.
No, I think we covered it all pretty well in the up front. As far as that goes. Yeah, I think was there anything else that you guys wanted to bring up about it that we didn't touch on at all?
Oscar.
No, I think, I mean, I will say the only thing I liked about that article is that the animation, the cartoon is pretty cool, but I look at Gina Carano being blown up the airlock, I'm thinking, yeah, she's catching that door, crawling her way back in, and then shutting it tight. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You say
That's
cool or cruel?
Yeah.
Did you say cruel or cool?
I said cool.
You said cool? I think it looks like shit.
No, I think it's an okay rendition. I mean, yeah, but the concept is definitely would be. If I saw that in a trailer for season 3 of Mandalorian, I'd be like, I have to watch that episode because I have to see how she gets out of that.
Yeah. That's actually a very good point, that here we see a situation that looks like it's going to be really, really bad, but she might still turn that around. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in reality.
And while we got a second, I just want to remind everybody to check to make sure you're still subscribed. One of our very own mods was unsubscribed from Midnight's Edge today. So Jordy himself was unsubscribed. So do check that. They do like to do that.
Yeah, when we say check that you're still subscribed, we absolutely do mean it. I mean, Tom, even you have been unsubscribed from Midnight's Edge. Believe it or not, but that happened.
Yeah. I was like, think about that for a second, Tom. You know, just before you answer. Seriously, I've been subscribed from several channels myself, though. So yeah, it's his little game YouTube likes to play.
Yeah.
I just thought I was like a week or so ago, I was unsubscribed from Anna, that Star Wars girl. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's nuts because there's a lot of these channels that I get unsubscribed from. I actually do watch all their videos. So the whole like, oh, it's because you don't watch it, so it's unsubscribing you stuff can't be true.
Yeah, it's not, because I watch Anna's videos all the time.
Shouldn't matter. If you subscribe to it, you should stay subscribed to it. That's it.
Yeah, that's how it should be. But regrettably, what you should and how things are two very different things. We have a few more super chats to go through. Felicity Poubelle says, agree with your point, Slant. It doesn't matter if people don't watch or pay attention to the ceremony. And
speaking of Polly, he was just going to say something before that. What were you going to say?
Oh, yeah. Polly, you were going to say something?
Yeah, that happened to me last night. We had a live stream and people were on, and then they realized they were unsubbed.
Oh yeah, it's becoming more and more of a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's becoming. It appears to becoming more prevalent, which is regrettable. It's extremely difficult to grow a channel in an environment where YouTube basically eats up all your growth. But yeah, that's how it is. And moving on from there, Bogue says for 20 Mexican dollars, Oscars are as irrelevant as the video game awards. But I still think the same point is true there. And Samoan Pirate says, Andre made that argument make more sense. So I thank you. Bogue also says, wake up your own side. When do you act then? I think you're referring to what I said. Well, basically, create awareness among your own side that isn't alert to what's going on. That's like one of the more important things that you can do.
I know some people are bringing up Razor Fist in the chat. His channel wasn't nuked by YouTube, as far as I know. There's something going on. I'm not going to get into the logistics of it, but as far as I know, it had nothing to do with YouTube. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. And Harry Nice Guy says for 10 euros, this is just a test. Well, thank you, and I hope the test was successful. And Kiki Hideout says for 50 Mexican dollars, how much you want to bet Kathleen Kennedy uses method as his biggest weapon? That reference to Amber, maybe?
Miss Amber? Well, since you brought that up, you can head over to our store right now and get this lovely t-shirt.
It is indeed lovely. And as I like to say, keep the memory of what happened ever fresh.
And we're working on sheets, just like her.
Yeah. And Snail Messiah says for 20 Danish krona, don't reference World War II. Use the wave from 1981. Guys, are you familiar with the wave from 1981?
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
No.
The wave?
Oh. Unless you're talking about what's done at like a stadium.
Like the
wave. Like the wave.
Yeah, okay. Snail Messiah, this is a movie that we know in the Nordic. It's completely unknown in the country where the movie was made. So, nope, we cannot use the wave. See, learn something every day. I didn't know that, but the wave is completely unknown here, or in the States. So, yeah. The Wave, by the way, is a movie about a history teacher who one day gets the question, what the hell was wrong with the people in Germany during that strife there back in the 40s? How could they be so stupid and evil? What's wrong with them? And then the history teacher, he decides to conduct a social experiment on the students, where he creates like this history club, which he calls the Wave. And then basically he indoctrinates them into viewing people who are not part of this, the Wave, with suspicion and everything. And then towards the end comes the reveal when they're fully on board and they're like super duper pro Wave and everything. And then he's like, we're going to meet the leader of the organization. And then he pulls down the curtain, and there's the picture of the leader of like those nasty guys in Germany in the 40s, and said, this is your leader. This is what we have learned the last few weeks with the Wave. So that's what he's referring to. That's the movie. And
I know that movie.
Yeah, I see there now. You woke up.
Yeah, I have a French teacher that did a similar experiment with the color of people's eyes. She in order to get it across. That type of thing, and
that's a very common
time in my youth.
Yeah. So as you see, Snail Messiah, we can't reference that movie because outside of us Nordics, hardly anyone on the planet knows it. And some guy on YouTube says for £5 Disney planned out each movie and phase beforehand with the Marvel movies. Why didn't they do that for Star Wars? Why change the winning formula? Well, because it was a different team that did it. The Marvel guys and Kevin Feige were the one that had that formula. Whereas Kennedy wanted to do something else, and he saw how well that worked. And then the killer Stov says for $10, best thing Favreau could do, in my opinion, is create content for Shapiro's new studio, contribute to legitimate alternatives, so Hollywood can't leverage being the only choice in town. Anyone want to elaborate on why Favreau can't go to Shapiro's new studio in this moment?
He'd get blacklisted by everybody else.
Yeah, he would. Everything he's fought for up to this point would be completely erased. And any ability he would have to sort of level out some behavior within at least Disney would be gone. There'd be no one else to do it.
Yeah. And I think he wants to try to fix Star Wars, whether he actually can do it or not. I think because you know, and I know you guys have talked to Cameron Pasha, but you know, it's pretty well known that he did not like The Last Jedi, like hated it. So I think he wants to be involved and try to kind of bring the fans back to it.
Yeah, and he can only do that when he's inside. And also, if he wants to keep making these massive Disney blockbusters, he can't do that and go to Ben Shapiro at the same time. He can go to Ben Shapiro after he's cancelled for something else, but not before. Anyone else have something they want to add to that? Paulie?
No. Nobody?
No, I'm good. I mean, I agree. And Hollywood is not there yet, you know, as far as, you know, being able to step out of the studios, as far as those corporations, you know. It'd be nice if it's more independent, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, exactly. The only people I think who can go to the to Shapiro's new studio are under the line guys, like gaffers and other technical staff. Like they, I think, can go back and forth between to Shapiro as they can to A1 and any other independent production company. But any of the creatives, they can't go there before it is a proven entity. Only when it's a proven entity will you see talent starting to defect to go there. And not of those that are like huge breadwinners for like studios for Disney and everything, but maybe those that have been huge before, but that don't get like necessary offers right now or something. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we get like some high profile defections of yesterday's celebrities if and only if Gina Carano's movie turns out to be successful. That would be my thought, at least. Script, am I wrong? Am I completely wrong?
No, I think you're right. The only stipulation is that the Daily Wire production company would have to follow all union guidelines for crew if they want to bring those guys in, which is not really a difficult aspect for them. And yeah, I think we're going to get, you know, probably actors like Kevin Sorbo and Dean Cain and coming in to do whatever projects that they want with them once, if and when Gina Carano's film debuts and the results come in as to if it's financially suitable for them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because I think that every actor and every producer that is under the closet right now are looking at that thing with excitement. They're not going to go with it. Their agent is going to say, if you do this, you're finished. But many of them might not get that many offers, especially if they're already like ousted as somewhat conservative and kind of like blackballed anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But if the Carano movie is successful, then I think that many can see that, you know what, there I can get a new chance for revival and I don't have to censor myself. And I think that you're going to see a string of defections, or not necessarily defections, but people going there if they can do it good.
Well, you're ironically talking about a real form of a safe space where a person can speak their mind without facing massive consequences that are beyond just a counter argument, and that's kind of an important aspect that I think society should return to. If anything, it's like speak your mind. and face the consequences of someone else speaking their mind, and that's as far as it usually goes. And I think that's where you get discourse, and that's where you get growth and understanding and new ideas, and maybe seeing other ideas as bad ideas or what have you. But at least it only goes that far, and it doesn't go to the point where a person loses their livelihood just because they have a different take or opinion.
Indeed. And moving on from there to catch up. Thunderstorm says for $4.99. Any chance of baby Grogu and BB-8 and Jeff Goldblum becoming smugglers in a Disney Plus series?
Well, life finds a way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
The fact that it's just Jeff Goldblum and he's not playing a different character, it's just him.
We have the Grogu. Do we have the Baba? We need the Baba.
And
I'd pay to see it if it were to happen.
We have
I'll,
the Baba.
I'll say that. Yeah. And then Christopher Tock says for $5, just dropping some love. Fade in KK. I can't believe that she said
Speaking
that.
of,
they left that in there.
With almost 20,000 views now, the ratio is 66 to 5K.
Nice. And Randy Wackenfeld says for $5, I've got all the new Conan titles and features on my pull list and love it. Support Conan and hear the lamentations of the soy boys and blue hairs. Yes, I agree. I endorse this message. So if you want to send a signal, actually spend some money on things that actually do it right. And Taker610 says for $2, social media needs a warning label like tobacco. Yeah, actually, Twitter could use that. Instead of them putting fake news alerts in the post and stuff, you should have that warning when you open the app.
Oh, how about replace that weird thing on the phone app of all the little images at the top with just warning, Twitter's not the real world.
Yeah. And Stephanie Yanni's ex-Smuggler's Cantina says for another $4.99, Frank does mushrooms so he doesn't have to face that hag every day. This, of course, would be Frank Marshall. She's referring to the husband of Gina Carano. So
no, Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah. Unless he leaves Kathleen Kennedy.
I wish I was married to that Gina Carano.
So I meant did I say Carano? I meant Kathleen Kennedy. I meant
don't say that name. Don't say that name.
Yeah. I was just looking at the next super chat, but yeah, of course, I meant Frank Marshall is married to Kathleen Kennedy. Boy, I blew that one, didn't I?
Can't go.
And then John Evan Bear says for $5 Canadian, Disney didn't even have the balls to fire Gina Carano in person.
Hollywood never wants to fire someone in person.
No, they always fire you via tweet. Yeah, they're like the worst boyfriend ever.
Yeah, especially someone that can kick their ass.
Hollywood invented ghosting. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and that's what we saw there, that she was being ghosted out of pictures and promotional material and everything. And the final one for now, Mephisto Sarces says for £10 there is a brilliant documentary on YouTube called The World at War, made in 1973. Start with episode 1. A New Germany. Warning though, it can be grim at times. Love to you guys. I've seen the series. That's a great series. So yeah, absolutely go check that out for those that want to learn some history. And real history, not the bullcrap you're going to be learning in schools the next few years. And with that, Diego Flores, of course, has to jump at my mistake, saying, hearing Andre say Frank was married to Gina made me think that is a fanfic Andre wants to see. Also, Congo.
I'm sure Frank wants to see it too.
Yeah, really.
I'm sure.
Turn. That would be.
I'm sure.
That would be an amazing turn. Like, the woman that fires Gina Carano ends up stealing her husband.
If I'm sure that if Gina were to go and charm Frank, she could get an amazing revenge.
She's a lady. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
There you go, Congo T. Gina Carano.
Congo
Carano. There you go.
I love the Congo love in the chat, though. Thank you guys, appreciate it. We're getting calls for the koalas. The koalas.
Yeah. Well, we are now caught up, so we can do the koalas.
Are we ready? Koalas in the rain.
Koalas in the rain. Koalas in the rain. No fucks given. Koala.
Okay, there you go, guys. You got your koalas in the rain. All right, so we're all caught up on super chats. Was there any other news going on besides the passing of Rush Limbaugh that was on the tip for today?
He passed. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You weren't here earlier when that came across. Let me double check.
Yeah, I saw that come across literally right when we were starting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Well, he was the guy who was in that Beavis and Butthead episode, wasn't
yeah.
he? Yes, that was him. He was incredibly sporty about that. I saw an interview from the time. Other than that, I'm not too familiar with him. Are some people saying now that Joe Rogan is becoming the next Rush Limbaugh?
I don't know about that.
I think I read someone say something along those lines.
He reminds me more of
Oddly enough, he reminds me a little bit of Larry King.
I was just going to say that. Larry King, that's what I was trying to think of, because he's all the interviews and stuff, yeah.
Rogan or
Rogan.
Rogan.
Yeah.
His format is like a conversation, but he tries to let the guests do more of the talking, which is what Larry King did. And
evidently Neil Patrick Harris is in Matrix 4. Okay.
Do he?
Yeah.
What?
Neil Patrick Harris says Lana Wachowski's Matrix 4 shoot felt very intimate.
This is news to me.
Depressing. I haven't heard that either.
Does anyone here want to see this film? Actually,
no.
I could care less about it. Really, I could not. Maybe we'll see the trailer, it'll blow us away or something. But honestly, I'm less excited for the fourth Matrix than I was for the second and third Matrix, and they were still relevant.
Well, remember when we heard we were getting a Tim Burton Addams Family, and then remember when we heard we were getting a Wednesday Addams show about her being older or whatever? I guess they're the same damn thing.
We were talking about the Matrix last night, and it made me start wanting to see the Animatrix, so I started that last night, and I love the Animatrix.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Get Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Speaking of such castings, we have some more news on the before we go out. We can mention this then, because I actually heard this from Mikey Sutton last night, and today it got picked up by Screen Rant and other stuff, and it's about our very own favorite J.J. Abrams.
Oh, what about him?
Because you all know that he got this mega deal over at Warner, and one of the things that he got his hands on is the DC universe. So he's gonna mess up a Superman movie by probably not casting Henry Cavill, and on top of that, he will be making a Justice League Dark series. Which may or may not be called Justice League Dark, but it will star the character John Constantine, or Constantine, or however you want to pronounce it. And they have now made it known that this character is going to be recast. It will not be Matt Ryan who has portrayed him fairly accurately, at least visually, to what the comic book counterpart looks like, and he would be very, very good for a more serious adaptation. It's not going to be Keanu Reeves who hired him before. Instead, they're going to race bend the character so that he will now be black or Southeast Asian, because so that we know. We don't know who, but they're like looking for a Reza Aslan type for the role.
There you go.
Wow, because he's from the UK, isn't it? They're like 92 or 91% white population. Like the odds of weird, but like what wasn't Taron Egerton rumored to be Constantine?
Yeah, here's the thing that Taron Egerton, he already is Constantine in the audiobook adaptation over on Audible, and it's fantastic, and he is spot on for the character. So there have been rumors that he is secretly playing Constantine for the Netflix adaptation of Sandman as well. I sincerely hope that he is. However, he wasn't among the new actors that were announced. When they announced who Mobius was going to be and who Lucifer was going to be, and even Cain and Abel, they conveniently ignored John Constantine. So we honestly don't know. And there were some media outlets that reported that it was going to be Taron Egerton that would reprise the role from the audiobook on screen. This was reported. But it wasn't announced, and when Neil Gaiman was asked about it, then he said that no, that publication, they had it wrong, that he's in the audiobook. But he didn't say that he wasn't in the Netflix adaptation. So I'm hoping that they're trying to save that for some kind of like later surprise or something. But at the same time, I'm wondering if it was him, why wouldn't they announce him with the rest? So
I hope it's
honestly don't know.
I hope it's a secret, because I've enjoyed his performances over the last few movies. He's quite charming and very, very convincing. So
he's really good, and he's perfect. Like of all the actors that you could cast for a young John Constantine, you couldn't do better than him. He's literally the best one for it. He can even nail the accent, because it's not just that Constantine is British. Yeah, that's one thing, but more specifically, he's from Liverpool, and he speaks with the Scouser dialect.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that wonders, if you've seen Red Dwarf, the like Lister, who incidentally is non-white. That's what John Constantine sounds like.
It's very kind of sing-songy dialect.
Yes, very much so. And he nails it. Like, he's so good in the audiobook, which I highly recommend, by the way. So I so hope that it's him. He would be the definitive Constantine on screen.
Well, Slimer Snarf reminds us that, yes, yesterday on Mecca's birthday stream and on Twitter, Robert Meyer Burnett has finally been able to announce that the Netflix Dota show is a thing. That's what he's been working on all this time, that some of us knew about, but we couldn't say a damn thing about it. Now we can. So yes, that is part of the news. So there's going to be a Dota series on Netflix, and Robert Meyer Burnett worked on it. So there you go. That's also in the news. And I know we had a couple more super chats, Andre. We should probably grab those. And
let's see. I'm not sure we have so many more. I think we are mostly caught up. We may have a couple of more. Yeah. Let's see. We have Stephen Otten, who says for $5, joining late. Hail Midnight's Edge and everyone in the chat. Rest in peace, Rush. And Delanta Harrison says for $24.99. Thank you so much. Can you all guys keep talking about Hollywood? All of it. Thank you.
Well,
we will.
The plan.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is the plan. We try to. Even going to expand that conversation to more things beyond just Star Wars and the heavy hitters. Although that's kind of like where, but we're going to try to expand a little bit from there.
Absolutely.
And Taker 610 says for $2, Matrix was a trans allegory this whole time.
That's what they said. So, like, my response to that was what? So it's fun at first, and then it goes to hell pretty quick for the rest of the time, or what?
Yeah. I mean, the first one was all just about an understanding of self, like, and that's the universal concept. So,
right. Yeah, that was a good
better
one
to lean into.
I had a friend that was that worked for them at that time, and that was a big deal. That was talked about during that time. So I don't think they're wrong, but the way they did it, like Script says, it's pretty universal.
Oh yeah, like that's the best part. That was why the first one did so well. Like, it's all about just figuring out who you are. That's one of the lessons the journeys we take on our life. And if the directors want to say it's specific to trans, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, the concept of a person going as a trans person is basically coming to terms or figuring out who they are, and we should be supportive of people who want to figure out themselves and when they have the doubts. And yeah.
And then finally, Felicity Poubelle says for $5, Matt Ryan was the perfect Constantine. NBC was the wrong studio. Yeah, it sure was. That show should have been resurrected on CW instead of Supergirl.
Well, that pilot on NBC was fantastic.
The NBC one, you thought so?
The NBC pilot for Constantine? I thought it was really, really good because some of the special effects they used in there, the narrative structure.
Yeah, the effects were that was all okay. But as a fan of the comic, I didn't like anything that they did on that whole series.
Oh no, for a comic book stuff, no, it wasn't a good adaptation. But like just for a normie to get involved in that, it hit all the right points you needed to get people.
That it may have done. It may have done. Yeah, but as for me, like I agree that NBC was the wrong network. Should have gone straight for HBO.
Yeah. Oh, definitely HBO. Because like I got into Constantine through like the Swamp Thing comics, and so I saw the
grandfather in then.
Yeah, like I was like, this isn't really Constantine, but man, this is really going to bring a lot of people into that character.
And for those who are curious what Dota was, here you go. Dota is the latest video game to get Netflix anime adaptation. Dota Dragon's Blood is coming late next month. So
congrats.
I actually got Dota 2 on Steam.
You don't say.
Yeah, and he actually talked about that Saturday night, but
I was saying
what it was.
Yeah, it just announced, I think, yesterday or day before.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
Looks pretty good.
What are you? Looks very good.
Now, hopefully, the He-Man series is this caliber.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the storyboards for this, I guess.
Really?
The
animatic storyboards.
Animatics, yeah. There you go.
Oh, that looks very cool. Very cool.
Congrats.
And
right around the corner.
Yeah, and the DCV Titan wonders, didn't they steal the script for The Matrix? I know nothing about that script. Have you heard anything about this?
Nope, that's news to me. I never heard of that part. I know the only thing I've ever heard is that they borrowed from so many other stories and other myths and whatnot and put it into the Matrix, but I never heard anything about
that they did.
Writer.
Yeah.
I think, wasn't there like they may have gotten settled. I thought there was some kind of lawsuit that was brought up when the Matrix came out.
Not unless Harlan Ellison and the writers of Tron decided to go after them.
I thought there was. If somebody remembers, let me know. But yeah, it's so long ago now, I can't remember. But yeah.
No, that's escaped my my field of.
I haven't heard about that either. Of course, there are many similarities to other things. Like most recently, the 13th Floor was also like quite similar to the Matrix.
Yeah, Dex Luthor says there was a lady that claimed she wrote the Matrix before the Matrix. Yeah, and then I think they settled out of court or some shit.
I also remember around the same time of the Matrix, there was a lady who claimed to have written Harry Potter and not J.K. Rowling, and I remember that being a big thing. I don't know if it's the same lady or not.
that would be quite a business idea, though. Go and claim that you've written all kinds of stuff before. So yeah. Anyway, with that, we are fully caught up. So I would like to thank our reverend panel of the day. First and foremost, Nick from Echo Base Network. First time on the morning show. So thanks for joining us.
Yep. And Coach sends his apologies for not making it. He thought he might be able to hop in later, but he just texted me a couple of minutes ago and said he's still not even home yet. So
yeah, well, next time we'll have to get him. Yeah, we appreciate you being here. Check out the Echo Base Network on YouTube, and I'm sure Natasha's been sharing the link, and I think we have it in the description as well.
Yep.
No, not yet, but I'll put it there. I'll update it. It'll be there before long. And also, I'd like to thank both Paulie and Script Doctor for joining us today. Really appreciate that, especially since I was absent myself there for a while.
Oh yeah, happy to have been invited again, and awesome talking with you, Paulie. And for anyone in the chat thinking there's a disagreement between or contention between us, that's not the case. What Andre highlighted was something that we learned in screenwriting, which is two people arguing essentially the same point or the same concept of correct ideas, and just having a disagreement through drama. And that's a very valuable lesson that you can get to see in real time if you rewind back a little.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of what I like to think of is like this image of like 4 or 5 or however blind men examining an elephant, and they describe completely different things because they're like feeling different parts of it. They're all right. It's just a matter of which perspective one sees it from.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
And if I could say anything, thank you, Script, and thank you, Andre, and everyone, is that what's great about discourse is I can, go away from the conversation and take in what was said, and it was like, you learn something. No matter what, if you're open, you always learn something from someone you're disagreeing with. It's true. That's true discourse, enlightenment, and just being civil. I mean, it was great. I love great discussion.
Yeah, and that's check what out we do. We are able to have conversations without tempers flaring too much and anyone being canceled afterwards. So
I don't know about the tempers thing. I was going to say check out our conversation.
I said too much.
Howard the Duck and Garbage Pail Kids. I got a lot of hate from those guys. They were like ready to disown me. That, of course, you can find on Latino Slants channel. Yes. So check that out. And we're working on one with Andre as well. So
yeah, looking forward to that. We just have to make the schedules and everything line up.
Yes, absolutely. And so with that, I think we're going to end things here. Head on over to Az's channel. He's got Robert Meyer Burnett and Graham Nolan on there right now talking. So tell him we sent you. And just before we go, we got Delonte Harrison sending in another super chat. Says, all you guys are smart. Come back. Thank you. Well, we plan to, hopefully as long as they will allow it. So until next time, Friday morning is our next morning show. We will see you then. Take care of yourself.